you know, again, we work in very closely with the juniors, so the local kids can see, you know, that there's my cousin, and he started off, he was in the under 9s, you know, and then here he is running around out there. And so that's really what we promote to the locals. That, and again, if you want to play in a really good standard of football against terrific sides on lovely decks, this is the league. This is the one to come to, you know. So that's basically that retention rate. But the other thing as well, we've always invested heavily in good coaches. Robbie Kerr. He's having a bit of a break this year, but Robbie was fantastic. The time that, like the coaching, he had 2 in a row with COVID. Without COVID, I think probably would have gone maybe 3. That was a really good side as well. And he's just a terrific coach of young men, and worked in closely with the senior coaches as well. And then senior coaching again. I think our panel of senior coaches are fantastic, led by Muddy, Robbie Waters, Dal Normington, coached at very, very high levels, played at the highest level, you know, Sean Cassidy, Brad Spear, these sorts of guys. They want to play for their local community.
I know you're hands-on, John, with the playing group. You've been there for a while. I actually beg to differ when you say you haven't got any recruits this year, because Pat McKenna's a recruit, because you didn't have him for, the majority of last season. So to bring him in, that's a really good addition.
Yeah, good call. And, my bad there. If Brian's listening, he'll probably give me a bit of a whack for that. Yeah, no, Pat's been terrific. He's just really managed himself well. You know, hasn't gone too hard, too quick. And so we're really just hoping that the body, just stays right. It was a very unfortunate, the one.
Yeah, we called that game. We called it. Yeah, it was horrible.
A bit too brave for his own good, I think, backing back into the pack like that. But no, look, he's been going well. So we'll just keep the fingers crossed that he's okay. I like all sides. We're hopeful that we'll be up there toward the pointy end when the whips are cracking. But, injuries play a big part. We just need to keep the fingers crossed that come that time of the year, we've got, the bulk of our best 22 on the park with a bit of momentum sort of going in, and, we'll see what happens.
2 players that I'm interested in, one in particular, young Jed Danahy, because he's a really young player, and Zach Danahy, of course, he's a little bit older, so he's matured, but young Jed, cousin of Dustin Martin, which not a lot would know, but has he developed on the off-season? I actually asked you because I've got a part-time job. I drive a school bus, and he was on my school bus last year, and he was determined to take Specky of the Year, which he nearly did. But a tall, skinny kid, is his body matured at all on the off-season?
I must say, he did have a bit of a funny one there for a few weeks. He had under the ball of his foot, underneath his foot, and then, couldn't get it right, and everyone sort of, what it is, and in the end it was his back. I don't know, for a bloke, he's as tall as he is, a long way from there down to there, but anyway, he's got over that. He's out there today, and, to have a young fella with that sort of height, but his agility below his knees, we're really hoping that he has a good year.
And John, president of the Footy Netball Club, everything good on the netball front as well, because the girls are always pretty competitive.
The girls, they're going well. Yeah, they've had a good pre-season. Well, actually, I go on walks around Gisborne with my wife, and then there they are, and they were doing hill sprints up the back of the old reserve, Sankey Reserve. And I said to my wife, geez, they're looking fit. And that was all of them as well, so that was great. Yeah, so the netball girls, they're going well. They're having a lot of fun, which is the main thing, and that's what it's all about. Just out there with your mates and with your friends, and just get into it.
Okay, John, thanks for joining us this afternoon on Footy Fresh. We always enjoy talking to you. Not far from game time, so I wish you all the best for this afternoon's game throughout the season. No doubt we'll see a lot of you leading up to the end of the year.
Thank you very much for that. Thanks for inviting us up, and have a great call, and really looking forward to the year.
4 minutes here into the final quarter. Sandhurst 6-7, 43 in the reserves. Gisborne are 6-6, 42. We'll have an in-depth look at this game this afternoon at the QEO. There's a lot of people here enjoying the sunshine. So if you're around Bendigo area and you're looking for something to do and you're looking for a game that promises to deliver, this is probably the one at the home of country footy, the QEO, where local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Go free, you go free, Keto. Sauce, work, Sauce, go, go, go. Keep going, Sauce, keep going, Sauce. Give me B, roll up, Josh, roll up. Get on this board. Chaz, you go 64, Josh, you roll up here. Jackie, go. Mark to roll up here. Josh, you go 64, split it. Jackie, you roll up here. Yeah, split him there, Jack, split them two. Jack, split them two.
Navarre, Natty Bialaba meet Lexington, and Maldon take on Carisbrook. Before we preview the game here at the QEO, anything stick out to you in that competition this afternoon, Cameron?
Yeah, well, we talked about what Gisborne might be like. If Gisborne's no good, then I could only imagine what Maryborough Giants will be doing travelling over to Trentham at the moment. You could get anything over in Trentham. So the Giants get their second look at the new club. They're up against Trentham, as I mentioned, at Trentham. You'd expect Trentham will be a little bit too strong. Trentham will probably be thereabouts again towards the end of the year. Talbot and Avoca also shapes up to be a good game as well. Like two sides that I think will be middle of the road. So really interested to see. I'm not sure if you know too much about the MCD FNL, Jace, but Talbot Avoca is probably the game that stands out to me. Newstead Harcourt, and Newstead very disappointing against Denali last week, so you would think Harcourt would win that game. Denali up against Navarre, which have lost quite a lot of players, so I'd expect Denali not at home. They're not going to be at their home ground till round 6 due to redevelopment of the netball courts, and the club made the decision that they didn't want to play the football and the netball at alternative venues. What's your thoughts on that before I go to the next game? So they're playing at Maryboro's ground, which is Hedges Oval.
I think it's a great thing that they want their teams to play together. I think that's logistically just be a club when you've got trainers and everything that actually support both football and netball. It's impossible to actually get those volunteers to support. A split ground would be too difficult for netball and football, so I think that's a really good decision they made. Just on those games that are there's a couple of games that stand out to me, and that's the Newstead Harcourt one. Obviously, a lot of history between those two sides as well, so I think that'll be an interesting contest, and that underlights that Newstead is a nice sort of setup, and it's it'd be interesting to sort of see how that one goes. And I think the Maldon Carisbrook game's a cracker. That should be a really good contest.
Yeah, Natty Bialba are at home against Lexington. Natty Bialba coming off a big win against Avoca last week, and Lexington who defeated Maldon, and some people thought might have been a little bit of an upset. So both those teams go in full of confidence as well. And Maldon and Carisbrook, Maldon obviously dropped that game, and Carisbrook always thereabouts. They'll be disappointed after losing the game last week. So that also shapes as a big game for both those two clubs, because the loser will slip to 0-2, and statistically 0-2 can sometimes be a fair way back, Johnny.
Yes, it is a long way to go, and as we mentioned, it's not as bad as 3 games back before the season starts, is it? No. So we're here at the QEO though for this big game in round 2, where the Gisborne Bulldogs, are taking on the Dragons, and the sides. Well, how do we see it playing out this afternoon?
Well, it's John just from Gisborne just said on the way out that it's a very much a midfield battle, and I agree with him. There's some really good talent running through the midfield of both these sides, and then there's plenty of power forward of the footy as well. So I'm really interested to see how Gisborne shapes up against Sandhurst. Sandhurst has had that run. This is first up for Gisborne. So can they go early with Sandhurst, given they've had a round 1 match-up last week? Can they match that intensity early? And if they can, I think we're in for a really, really close contest all the way through.
You touched on the midfield battle. There's a couple of young guns on both these sides. Noah Walsh for Sandhurst and Flynn Lakey for Gisborne. I'm really excited to see. I'm hoping that these two go head-to-head with each other, because they are, in 4 or 5 years' time, I think those two will be, two of the best, if not the best 2 players in the league.
Yeah, and they've been great coming through the juniors as well, both those boys. So they'll, I actually think they will go close to head-to-head in that matchup. I think they'll be in the middle there a little bit, and we'll go head-to-head at times. So.
Both fiery redheads too.
Yes, they will stand out in the conditions today. So plenty of zinc probably on both boys today.
Gisborne have also got a new signing into the club, Jackson Cadillo. They tell me he's a contested beast, and he's just a centre clearance dominator. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what he brings. If he can get him winning the ball and delivering it into the likes of Dennehy and Scanlon down in that forward line, and Pat McKenna lurking around down there, it could be dangerous for Sandhurst. So I think that the team that gets on top in the midfield today is going to go a long way to winning this game. So because both ends have got the firepower, so it could be a bit of a shootout, I reckon, Johnny.
Yeah, look,
on a day like today.
What interests me most is how do they cover for 2 players in particular. I know that they lost some to Bridgewater. They've lost the Andrew Collins, that type of player, to go out there. Lee Coughlin as well. But firstly, in the ruck, they lose Hamish Hosking. But I don't know, in my mind, I mean, he's a super player. I mean, the short answer is, of course, you're going to struggle losing a player like that. But the way he played the footy, when we watched him here, he almost played as a midfield. He'd win his own tap. And this was not only in the middle, but also around the grounds and also boundary throw-ins. And he would actually grab the ball and try to burst through the pack and run through the front of the contest, the contest there. And then he'd almost act as a mid himself, and he wasn't bringing, to a certain degree, the other players into it, and then he'd bang it inside forward 50. So, in my mind, So you bring in Fergus Green. I'm not sure how much time you'll spend in the middle, but you've got players in the middle that can cover in Tardru. So Sexton just taps it to them, and they can do the same job effectively what Hamish Hosking was doing. Makes sense.
Oh, you're backing on him winning a lot of the hit-outs today. I think he's up for a big talent to negate Braden Blake in the ruck for Gisborne. That's a massive matchup, and whoever gets their hands on the footy first to get their midfielders with the first use of the ball, it's going to go a long way, I reckon.
It's an interesting matchup as well. Connor's actually very tall and very rangy. Played a bit of interleague footy for me for Bendigo 5 years ago. The ball, so he'll get really high and try and tap there. If he can get his hands on it around the ground, he's a beautiful kick as well, as you'd expect. Jeans and kicking in that. I agree, John. It's a different mix for Sandhurst in the middle. So I think it's if he can get it at the peak, if he can actually tap that down and get it to the ground, that's good.
So Sean O'Farrell played in that second ruck for them last week, and he's obviously gone out this week due to injury. Who do we see? Are you thinking that maybe a Kobe Maxted might have to pinch it a little bit in that ruck up, especially if the ball goes forward? How do you see Sandhurst with that second ruck? Because there really isn't a lot of hide out there once you take away Connor. But maybe a Kobe Maxted might get an opportunity up forward in that pinch hitting role.
Yeah, you probably put me on the spot a little bit here, to be honest, Cam, with it. I'm not sure. And just watch the boys walk past down below. A heck of a lot of second string ruckman from what I can see in the list. So it just depends on the way that they actually elect to play Connor as well. They could play him and not get him to push forward, and they've got enough firepower there. As you said, Kobe Maxted could play it. He could wrestle in the ruck there. Do that as well. Fergus Green could do that as well. So they've probably got enough that could do that in that area.
Well, if you want to take a leaf out of the AFL's book at the moment, a lot of teams aren't even bothering with a second ruck. They're just putting an extra mid when it's that stoppage up forward.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Oscar Perez comes back in after a little while away. From memory, he's tall and gangly, isn't he? Or he was.
He's tall enough, but you expect him to play a little bit more back, probably.
Yeah, you would. So it's going to be interesting how they manage that ruck challenge. And the next part of what I was going to say, I don't see that as their biggest challenge in losing players. I see it as Sam Conforti, who has gone over to play in Norwood, I think, in South Australia. His height and his weight, smaller type player, but his ability to find the footy playing as a sometimes mid-wing into the forward line and a roost of a left foot on him, knows how to hunt the football. In my mind, that's a harder player to cover in this circumstance than what I think the ruckman Hamish Hosking is.
Yeah, I agree. That's on this grounds, those skills that he brings and what he brought to the side was sensational. That's exceptional ball user, even on both sides. He's really clean with the footy. But I think that's been Sandhurst's history, hasn't it, in recent times. They've got plenty of kids that have come through and have been able to play that role and do have that elite kicking foot scoop skill ability that they bring to the QEO. So I'm actually interested in when Gisborne said that, and Cam, you mentioned earlier, that they've brought in another inside midfielder, another strong midfielder, which is really unusual for Gisborne to be rolling around with some really contested beasts. They've usually got 5 or 6 of them running around and pretty difficult to match up with. But those guys that can get in and get the footy, and I know Bryce said it earlier in our coverage that they've put a real emphasis on watching the contest and the guys that put their head in the trough. We know Gisborne's going to do that through Benaki and as the list goes on. Sandhurst's got to match them in that area and get it to the outside.
You talk about Sandhurst losing Sam Conforti, but on the other side, this Gisborne, that Brad Benaki coming back in that side is a huge inclusion. Absolutely pivotal in the year that they ended up winning the grand final. So he is going to be massive down there for them. And Pat McKenna as well, obviously didn't play a lot last year due to injury and whatnot. So those two back into this side, that just adds so many options that they can roll through that midfield, which is already nice and strong. So it's going to be a terrific battle in the midfield. So.
And we haven't even mentioned Fergus Green yet.
No, or Lockie Tardew, 44 touches, 4 goals last week, so absolutely phenomenal. Ferg Green, 6 goals last week, as you mentioned. I was told that in the 2 practice matches that he played, that he kicked 21 goals across the 2 practice matches that Sandhurst played this year. So I can't remember who the opposition was off the top of my head, but it was 21 goals in 2 practice games. So if he's buzzing around 6 last week against Kangaroo Flat, I think one of those two would nearly be the favourites for our Bendigo City Framers Best on Ground Award, wouldn't they?
For this afternoon? Wow, there's a number of them by the look of it. But yes, our sponsors, Bendigo City Framers, we'll talk about that throughout the broadcast. $100 voucher. We're going to have a lot to pick from this afternoon. It's about who brings their A-grade game. Andrew Collins is out, so but they've got a wealth of riches down forward. It probably gives the opportunity, if Fergus Green's kicking goals, you've got Kobe Maxted down there, who we haven't really mentioned in the goal-kicking capacity. That all of a sudden frees him up a little bit as well and takes the pressure off him.
Well, I saw a stat off last week's game against Kangaroo Flat, Jay. So Kobe Maxted, Fergus Green and Wright, 25 marks inside forward 50 between the three players last week. That's just unheard of. 25 marks inside forward 50 for three players.
Yeah, I saw it a little bit out in the footage as well, Cam. It's actually impressive at Sandhurst, and they channel the ball through those big guys, as you mentioned, or not, they're not all big, but they channel it through different players. But that's the most impressive part. You could see on the footage that Kangaroo Flat were filling back in front of Fergus Green a lot of the time. The Sandhurst guys around half forward midfield were able to lower their eyes and find different targets, so that's pretty impressive. I've certainly got my eyes out for that one today.
Now it's full time here in the reserves. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo at the QEO, where Sandhurst the Dragons have come out winners 8-9-57 in a good close game. Gisborne 6-7-43. So not far away from the big one here this afternoon. Umpires this afternoon, Cam, you've even had a bit of a sneak in the umpires room, I believe, haven't you?
Yeah, over there. So we've got Marcus Osborne, Jack Anderson, and of course one of our favourites here at Fresh FM, Johnny Norton, back in for another year. Terrific umpire, Johnny
Norton. Now, we've had an extensive discussion about the pros and the cons of both of these sides. In a nutshell, what have we spit out? Who's going to win it and why, Jason?
Put me on the spot first, Johnny. That's
yeah, because I want to hear what
you go in the box.
I want to hear what you're going to say before I make a decision.
I get a little bit more time to think about it.
You might influence me a little bit.
No, my answer is very, very, very simple, and it's round 2 for Sandhurst versus round 1 for Gisborne. I actually think that has a significant impact. I honestly think Sandhurst will jump, and I think they'll get out pretty well because of the fact that they played that competitive game last week, and we know it was a pretty easy victory in the end for Sandhurst, but that competition is very different than your practice match stuff, so I think that actually has a significant impact. So that's the only reason I'm probably leaning towards Sandhurst. I like Gisborne's midfield mix. Clearly, I think, as we mentioned previously, they can pick a score, but I'm probably going to lean towards Sandhurst because of that round 2 versus round 1.
I'm leaning towards Sandhurst as well in a high-scoring shootout. I think it'll be over 100 points for both sides on the day like today. Just high power up both ends. If Gisborne are to win the game, I feel like Jack Reaper's going to have a massive day in that back line and really set them up down back. He'll most likely get the job, you would imagine, on Ferg Green, so a big ask for the captain. And if Gisborne are to win, they'll need a captain's performance out of him. But I'm leaning towards Sandhurst in a close game within 10 points. But both teams scoring over 100 is my prediction for the game.
Am I allowed to tip a draw? It could be. Yeah. That'd be good odds, wouldn't it? Now, I'm leaning towards Sandhurst. I think they've got unfinished business from last year. I know they've lost a couple, but to bring in Fergus Green, the quality, and we've already discussed the pros and cons of who's in, who's out. But just to me, I'm just going to go with a good old-fashioned feeling, and I think that it might be Sandhurst with that unfinished business. I came to their last year after the grand final. I came here on the Sunday to pack up all the gear that was here because we did the broadcast, of course, and there were some disappointed lads there, and I just sensed that even from that very first day that they had their eyes on the big prize here. Speaking of Sandhurst, what a club they are, the Golden Dragons, the membership down here in front of us. They're selling their memberships out at the front just for a basic membership. I'm sure that you'll go and buy one for $150, Cameron, but they look after us beautifully here, the Golden Dragons. We've all had 3 chicken burgers. You've had 3 by yourself, Cam, but we got the leftovers. Also, and a couple
I went and bought one, and you didn't tell me they were bringing them up. I come up, and there was one sitting up here. So
well, that's not quite correct. You actually said, I don't care because you know I need more than one. I think that might have been where the conversation went.
Just Sandhurst, big roar as they ran out on the ground. James Coughlin, as we mentioned, 400 games for him, so might be another reason for the Sandhurst boys to be up and about. James Coughlin, legend of the club, 100 games.
Well, legend family of the club, son of Frank Coughlin, been around a long time.
Very big name across the Sandhurst Footy Club, isn't it? Sorry, Johnny, I'm a little bit distracted down here. You mentioned the 150, the Dragons membership, and I'm looking down the front here, and there's a few of these guys that have been around for quite some time. Meaty and a few of the other boys down there having some beers. It looks like a pretty nice spot to be. So,
yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm a little bit distracted by.
Well, we did discuss off air. This club here does it better than most. I know all clubs try their best, but to come up here to a home game at Sandhurst, it probably helps us because we're right above it. We can see all the action.
In terms of functions that Sandhurst put on, every time we come to a Sandhurst game here at the QEO, they've always got someone on, and their following's actually quite large. They've got a really big following, so it's a terrific job that they do off the field as well as on the field here at Sandhurst.
Now, a name we didn't mention, and we did have him in the box earlier, the co-coach, Bryce Curnow. I was just attending to other duties. So did he talk much about his injuries and when he looks like coming back? And do you think that obviously it'll make a big difference when he comes back, but how do you see that playing out?
A huge difference when he comes back into the team. So he said he was pretty close. Probably just a bit conservative today. I think we've got a bye next week. He mentioned, so give it another extra week and try and get ready. So huge difference. Swingman, ultimate swingman. When you actually coach against him, it's a nightmare to coach against because you don't know which end he's going to turn up at, and whichever end he is at, he influences. So he's a fantastic player and make a huge difference when he does come back. But sounds like he's very close.
You know, when they talk about, particularly at the highest level of football, they talk about that half-back intercepting. Melbourne's got it at the moment with a couple of players, with May and Lever and so forth, and you look back to Rance, etc., etc. So when you see a player like Bryce at our level, you do actually get a feeling of how important that is. And if you think about it, it's not something that jumps to mind, that's one of the more important positions on the ground.
Oh, definitely. It definitely is. He has a knack of being able to read the ball in the air better than forward, and I know he's played a lot of times forward as well, but he can certainly read it really well. And he can read it really well, and he just can bounce from there. So he'll actually make really good decisions with the footy as well once he gets it in his hands.
Now, put your coach's hat on, Jason, momentarily. Who goes to Fergus Green? Because you'd have to discuss it, wouldn't you, if you're the opposition. Current AFL player coming into the side. He's kicked 6. He's red hot, super fit. Who's the matchup here that would you have a hard tag on him, or would you just kind of let him go for a start and then just see how it unravels in front of you?
Well, yeah, I think you've certainly got to have a matchup for him. You've got to be ready for that matchup. So I'm just looking through the Gisborne list, and I'm not sure whether it's whether Reaper goes there or whether they go for someone like a Liam Spear. So there's a different sort of it's a different height sort of matchup, but it depends on where Fergus plays around the ground as well. So certainly knowing Speary as well, if he is down in that half-back sort of area, he might be someone that could go and lock down as well. So that'd be interesting sort of to see what they've got. But I'd imagine in the coach's box, Gisborne will have 2 or 3 options up their sleeve, and they would have planned that one because Fergus can get off the chain early, and they're going to need to have a second option to be able to.
It's a hard one because if you go hard at him, then you have Lockie Tardieu's out there as well in that midfield role. Those two can swing forward and mid as well. So massive players. Tardieu 44 touches last week. Do you have someone run with him if you were the coach? Do you go the hard tag on him, or do you wait and see how the game plays out and then make a decision based on that? Or if you were coaching, how would you treat that?
Interesting, you put me in the Gisborne box twice, and you've got the two, arguably Sandhurst's best 2 players to work through. If I'm in the Gisborne coach's box, I'm going head-to-head with the midfield battle. I'm watching forward of the footy, and I'm making sure I've got matchups forward of the footy. But with the names that are on that sheet from a Gisborne perspective, I'm backing my mids to get the job done, watching forward of the contest. So you don't want to allow them to squirt out forward of the contest. Make sure you've got sweepers in place and your wings potentially rolling around and stopping that. But yeah, no, I'm midfield head-to-head. Certainly match up forward.
Doesn't that it just makes you think we could be in for a big contest if there's a lot of head-to-head contests and it's not too tight. You're going to see some quality football. Looking at number 3 for Sandhurst, it's going to be a little bit odd because Matthew Thornton is retired. He doesn't play for Sandhurst anymore. Not quite a big body, but Matthew Campbell comes into the side, so we'll keep an eye on him with interest and see what he brings to the table, Cam.
Yeah, it is a loss. He has been a terrific player, Bear Thornton, for such a long time, and a fan favourite of ours up here in the commentary box at times, Johnny, and he just had the ability to kick goals from anywhere on the ground at any time. So Matthew Campbell's got some big expectations to live up to wearing that number 3 jumper for sure. For anyone playing along at home, there was a late change for Sandhurst as well. Number 7, Sean O'Farrell comes out. Ollie Hannaford comes in, and he'll wear jumper number 1.
So the toss, it's been won, and I think it might have been Sandhurst that won that toss. They're going to be kicking to the city end. They're going down. We'll pick up the matchups. I'll get you to pick up some matchups down there pretty soon, Jason.
Yep.
But going to the Barnard Street end, it will be Gisborne as both sides come together. So not far away from the start of the big one here at the QEO. First time here this afternoon. We don't have weekly footy at the QEO anymore because, of course, the Bloods are out at Harry Trott. But an opener, a season opener here at the QEO. It is Sandhurst taking on Gisborne. Potential big teams of season 2024. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. Here's the powerhouse, Cam Power.
Underway, round 2, Bendigo Footy League. And Blake and Sexton both went up, bounced, and Sexton got it on the second tap. Walsh immediately onto the footy, flies the handball out to Stagg. Now it comes wide. Dragons will get the first inside forward 50. Playing behind, and Gisborne are able to punch, but doesn't clear very well. Good defence in there. That was from Vasiho. got the handball out with Jed Dennehy, sends it down the line, and it is intercept mark for the Dragons. It's in the hands of Lockie Hood.
So the ball goes inside forward 50, and it's a mark taken by the Dragons, so they'll get the first shot at goal. It's with Maxted. He's wearing the number 4 Guernsey last year. I reckon he might have been 15. So Maxted, he's graduated to Andrew Collins' number, and he'll line them up. The man on the mark stands at 40. Slow and deliberate. Spins the footy in his fingers. Maxted to put the first goal on the board under a minute for the Dragons. 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, bang, it's a goal. It goes 5 rows back, and that is the opener here at the QEO. Sandhurst a 1 goal straight 6. Gisborne are yet to score. Score sponsor Parsons Towing in Castlemaine. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Johnny, I haven't got the matchups down to Gisborne in there just yet, but you could see straight from the start that there is an effort from Sandhurst to move the footy forward and get it on the outside as fast as they possibly can. That stoppage was really clean and move the guys straight forward and get an attacking entry into the forward 50. So great start from Sandhurst.
Back in the middle we go. Again, Sandhurst going up, 1 down. Benaki's in there early for the Bulldogs. Big afternoon for Brad Benaki back at the Gisborne side. Sandhurst, they'll again win the clearance. They bring it out towards the grandstand wing position. It's in the hands of Connick. Connick's fed off the handball to a teammate who's kicked down the line. And trickle out of bounds right in front of our broadcast position. True centre wing position here. Grandstand side of the QEO, which is absolutely bathed in sunshine. We're 2 minutes into this one. Sandhurst 1 goal. Gisborne yet to score.
Umpire will throw it in. True centre wing, broadcast side. Up they'll go in the ruck. Sexton won it to the front of the pack. Trying to don't argue there for the Dogs with Johnson. Might be a free kick. It will be. And we don't usually give the reserve score, but we will, thanks to Richards Jones out at the Maryborough game. Kangaroo Flat 35-21, 231. Kangaroo Flat to Maryborough did not bother the scorer. So let's hope that's not what happens this afternoon in the senior game. As the Dragons have it on half back, it'll be Tardrew, the old 1-2. He ended up with it. He gave it to a teammate in Mills. Mills goes to the outer side. Geez, they're winning a lot of possession of the footy here. It's with Ruff, the Dragons. Ruff on half back, swimming pool side. Dumps it down the line, looking for Maxted. Front and centre. 3 is there for the Dragons. Ground level, they dive in after the footy defensively. Spear doing well. Umpire's letting it go a long time, and we'll have a ball up. 6 playing 0, Sandhurst lead.
Structure really interesting here, boys, too. That's actually Gisborne 1-on-1 most of the way around the ground.
So Blake got first hands to it for Gisborne, but it's gone straight back over the boundary line, and we'll have a replay. This time it'll be a boundary throw in as opposed to a ball up. And boundary umpire far side here of the Queen Elizabeth Oval. Pool side, about 70 out from the Dragons' goal. Blake wins it down. Blakey's in there. No one able to really take any clean possession. It's a hot footy bouncing around at the bottom of the pack. Johnny Norton happy to let him fight it out for a little bit. And there's a free kick which has been paid from the non-officiating umpire. Johnny looked back at the other umpire and then called the free kick. Didn't see what it was for, but Gisborne have got it. They'll move the ball into the middle of the ground, and it'll be in the hands of Merritt.
That came from Cardillo. First touch of the footy. Merritt, he goes, spreads it wide to the wing. Got numbers here, Gisborne. It's like McKenna up the ground. He'll go inboard, short pass. Spots up Lakey. Lakey now, right half forward to the Barnard Street end. Short, low bullet ball. It was poor. I don't think that was his intended target. Lockie Wright wearing the number 15 for the Dragons. Spreads it wide laterally, goes to Connick. Connick of the Dragons. Hits up Joel Wharton. Joel Wharton deep in his defensive arc of 50. Barnard Street end, looking to bring it down the broadcast side. Wharton directs traffic, now dumps it down the line. 50-metre ball, looking for Fergus Green. Couldn't get his hands on the footy. Braden Blake does for the Dogs. Gives it up, coughs it, front of the pack, working nicely. It was Paul Pratt. Little handball, ineffective. Hands and knees, James Coughlin gets one too high. Umpire doesn't agree. Ball up, Johnny Norton. And it is 1 goal straight, 6 the Dragons. Gisborne yet to score. 5 minutes gone. Opening turn. In fact, it's a free kick, Cam.
Yeah, umpire Norton playing a late free kick there. So it'll go in the hands of Dylan Johnson for the Gisborne Bulldogs. He chips it barely the required distance, but it's in the hands of Spear. In fact, it's Vesocio, sorry. Vesocio's got it. Well, his kick was a 15-metre kick, but it was a poor kick. It barely went 5 metres above the ground, and it made it almost impossible for Jared Lynch, who couldn't control it at his feet, and it'll go out of bounds and be thrown in.
Sandhurst winning plenty of the ball here, Cam. They've got, I reckon they'd be well and truly up in the stats at the moment, and it's a pretty chippy contest, actually. There's a little bit of verbal banter out there.
I think they've won nearly every clearance so far, so Gisborne will try and work it out. They end up going backwards by 15 metres. It's picked up and handball forward. That was from Ireland. No one in there. Umpire crossed his arms and we'll have it balled up. There is a little bit of tension in this game. Lots of push and shove going on at the moment. Wharton involved. Go to with Macklin Lord for the Bulldogs. Ball up. Blake wins it down. Lakey's got it. Handball's back to Spear. Hard up against the boundary line. Thought about kicking down the line, but decides I'm happy to take this one over the boundary. And we'll get it thrown in. 60 out from home. Good hot contest early. Plenty of feeling in this one as well, Johnny.
Certainly is, Cam, as Blake will do the ruck work. Good bit of work, Sexton getting involved body-wise. Hurried kick inside forward 50 Dragons. Swooping on it for the Dogs was Shapano. Handball over the top. That was ineffective handball by Graham, but they've got the safety of numbers. They move it to the outer side wing, swimming pool side. Cop up. Now it's with the Dragons. Turnover. Smith getting involved. Now it's a long kick inside forward 50 to the top of the square. Contest formed. Tracking the footy was right. Puts it towards the boundary line and puts it over the boundary line, and it will be a ball in. 15 metres around from goal. Sandhurst in attack. They lead 1 goal straight, 6 to Gisborne, yet to score.
First time we've seen that too, boys. Gisborne got 2 back in front of Fergus Green then, so that was the first time they've had one drop off.
So ball thrown in. Maxted, he takes it out of the ruck, feeds off the handball to Tarju. Tarju then handball wide, trying to find their way through. He got it back. Tarju throws it on the boot towards goal. He might have kicked it. He has. Terrific work from Sandhurst. And there's a little bit of push and shove going on afterwards. It's a goal's been signalled. A free kick's also been paid. It's all happening. What's going on out there, Jason?
You keep up with the commentary, Cam, and I'll watch the fight.
Well, it's a goal to Tarju, and I think similar to what we saw in the Carlton Fremantle game, there's going to be another free kick directly in front of goal for Sandhurst. So it could be a 2-for-1, and Tarju could kick 2 goals in the space of 20 seconds.
Certainly was a holding the man free kick that was played.
Well, he might have got a little bit of treatment after he kicked the goal. So either way, an absolute gift for Sandhurst. Tarju, he kicked one 20 seconds ago. Can he do it again? In he comes. Well, it's a bit of a letdown, and Gisborne let off the hip hook for some ill discipline. Sandhurst 2-1-13, 9 minutes gone in the opening quarter. Gisborne yet to trouble the scoreboard. Score sponsor, Bendigo City Framers. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
I wrote that one in the book, then, Jason. I had to scribble it out.
I did see you writing down. I was wondering, points as well as goal.
A little keen on my behalf, wasn't it? It's from the kick-in for Scovey. He sends it a long way beyond 50 to the swimming pool side. Comes off hands, and it will be a ball in.
There's Vescovi with their match up there on Fergus Green as well. He's actually been okay early.
Yeah, well, I haven't called him. Well, I called him once, Fergus Green. 2-1-13. They seem to be doing a lot of the attacking against the Bulldogs yet. They've got the upper hand. They have not hit the scoreboard. Up they go in the ruck. Hurry kick out of the pack. The Dogs will send it forward. Bouncing footy towards the line. They track it and it goes over and we'll have another ball in. Harry Luxmore getting involved. We saw him play some big games last year, particularly down at Gisborne early in the season. So interesting if he can hit the scoreboard this afternoon. 13-point margin. The Dragons lead. 9.5 minutes gone. Opening term. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
So Sandhurst win it down. Gisborne trying to work it forward. Far wing. No real clean possession being held for either side, and the umpire has pulled out a free kick to the Dragons. So they'll take the advantage down the pool side wing. Kick goes down in the direction of Fergus Green, and he takes it. And as he takes possession, he's taken across the boundary line. We'll get it thrown in. 70 out from home. Good hot contest earlier at this one though, Jace.
Definitely can. There's plenty of space out there on the QEO too, which is naturally it's a big ground, but there's a lot of room. There's a lot of room for Sandhurst to move the footy at the moment, so I'm sure Gisborne's coaching staff will be watching that.
No one really in the centre of the ground. Majority players taken on the far side. Again, Maxted goes up, takes it out of the ruck, fides off the handball. Gisborne able to win it. They'll send it into the middle of the ground. Now they've got that long kick wide. The kick bounces nicely. They've got one out the back if they can find the way through. They can. It's taken nicely by Luxmore. Luxmore chips over the top, finds a teammate. Good play, Bulldogs. And they will line up for their first attempt on goal. 30 metres out, but they are in that South Bendigo social room side pocket. Well, the social rooms are no longer there, but I guess that's what we're still rolling with for this year. And it's the ruckman, Bladen Blake, that have drifted forward. He'll get the first shot on goal. So he'll kick from about 30 metres out, almost in line with that left-hand point post. And wow, that's an absolute shocker. He's missed everything. He kicked it straight, but straight out of bounds on the full. So
almost went into the old South Bendigo club rooms camp.
Didn't trouble the scorers, and Sandhurst will bring the ball back into play. It is Sandhurst 2-1-13. Gisborne yet to score. We've played 11 minutes in the opening quarter. Score sponsor, JBR re-stumping.
Tardrew sends it long. In fact, he couldn't send it long because he marked it, in fact. He's gone from off the half-back line. Now it is the Dragons. It might be 50, it is. Didn't pick up what that was for.
A good old 50 too.
It was. So, short pass. He gets the old 1-2. Stagg getting involved. Now he goes inside forward 50. And it was just nice. Just floating in front of the pack there was Reaper. Reaper short pass. Spear in his defensive zone. City end. Right in front of the Golden Dragons. Goes corridor. Was dangerous but safe. It was aggressive football. Lakey by hand. Dishes it off. Lynch to the top of 50. Luxmore takes a mark. In fact, it was Burke. Then he gives it by hand to Gray. Gray running goalward. Opportunity missed. Minor score. Gisborne hit it, and they are one behind. They trail 2-1-13. 12 minutes gone opening term.
Twice Gisborne's got over the top, though, too, of the Sandhurst zone there, so that's actually a positive sign for Gisborne going forward.
To Sandhurst, they chip it in and they find Ireland. Ireland handballs off, and now they've got the run through the middle. They handball again into the middle. Good link-up footy through the middle of the ground. The Dragons still working it around out there. Ruff's got it. Forced to go back. Eventually it's turned over, and they'll go inside the forward 50. The Bulldogs come from Lakey. Hard up against the boundary right in front of the players' race on the opposition change rooms side. Ground here at the QEO, right in front of the little race out there where the umpires also walk off. We'll get it thrown into play. They've had some chances in the last 5 minutes, but they haven't troubled the scorers too much as of yet. Kick out of the pack from the Bulldogs, goes towards goal, bounces over the back. Trying to get in there for the Dragons. Just playing around with it. It's in the hands of Ireland. Ireland feeds off, and now they've got some run out of defence, the Dragons. They send the long kick down the wing, which is a beauty. It ends up in the hands of James Coughlin on his 100th game. He gets it, wheels it inside forward 50. It's a strong grab. Is that Fergus? He judged hard. Almost bounced off his chest. He took it on the second attempt. Was that not a mark?
I think they're called touchdown.
Oh, so we'll get it balled up, and Gisborne will clear the ball out of defence. I think Fergus Green was almost ready to go back and have his set shot, but Johnny Norton crossed his arms and said, we'll ball it up. We're back in the middle. Tardew's got it. Dragons can work it out again. He's got some options if they want to come wide. Oh, the kick was not a great one. He was looking for Oscar Perez, and the intercept mark has been taken by Liam Spear. He's been good early, Spear.
From left half back. Short pass, barely the required distance. Lakey hits him with a short pass. Lakey, defensive side of the wing, broadcast side, goes laterally across. Jeez, it's a ball kick. He's going to make Dennehy work. He's good enough now. He's quick. He's got a nice set of heels. That's Jed. Jed spreads it wide. Poor kick, bouncing footy towards the boundary line. Poor result, really. They keep it in, the Dragons. It was maxed it over the top. Now they'll go to the wing. Connick takes a mark. He swings inboard. He'll go shallow inside forward 50. Poor kick. Intercepting mark there. Right, taken by Spear again, getting involved.
So Spear's got it. They come wide, the Bulldogs. They're going to come down the grandstand side wing. Down the line they go. That was in the hands of Matthew Merritt, who's been busy early. He's been just working around with it. Ryan Burke got it, ran himself into all sorts of pressure, and he got nailed in the tackle. And that was a good bit of tackling pressure for the Dragons. And it will be rewarded to Oscar Perez, who's back in this Sandhurst side.
Good tackle, boys. Very good tackle.
So Perez has got it, taking his time.
Made me nervous, though, Jason. The
He
way he's
almost
slung
kicked
him.
it into the man on the mark, but off his right foot, got it up towards the top of 50, and an intercept mark for Gisborne will be taken, and it'll be in the hands of Jack Reaper, the captain of this Gisborne side.
In another day, you'd just drag him into the ground, wouldn't you, after a tackle like that?
You certainly would have.
Now it's Merritt. Merritt to the Dogs. Goes back. Hitting the pack hard. Jeez, that was Reaper. But the Dragons keep it alive. Running shotgun there. It's a shot at goal. Wharton. He's wearing the number 1 Guernsey for the Dogs. I reckon we've had a number change, didn't we, Cam? For the for the Dragons.
Ollie Hanrahan's in the number 1. He was the late
Inclusion. So it's Hanrahan. He's getting involved. So we're back up to the wing now. McKenna, hands on the footy. He's good enough. Dennehy, this is Jed, picks it up. Handball's okay. Series of handballs on the end of it now. Running shotgun again is Merritt. Merritt to McKenna by hand. McKenna short pass. Good hit up. They're moving it nicely here, the Dogs. They're starting to find a little bit of system. Scanlon now. He's got a lead on in the pocket. And he honours it. And a tumbling mark has been taken in the pocket by the Dogs. Might be Johnson, and it is, and he'll line them up on a pretty tight angle.
Difficult spot to kick a goal. The Curio, the spot, boys. This is a couple of times Gisborne's taken it in, and they've just had difficult shot.
Can't be much worse than Braden Blake's effort from a similar spot.
Come on, Johnson. He's had his hand on the footy a couple of times this afternoon. And is he going to bother to score it? Not even. Not even close in the end. It's it'll be a kick, free kick. It'll go to the Dragons. 14 playing 1, 17 gone. Opening turn. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
It was the same result as Braden Blake's effort before. Both kicks gone out of bounds on the full and missed by a fair way. So Dragons will bring it in. They chip it in short and find Alex Wharton. Alex Wharton then sends it down. It'll land just in front of the Sandhurst bench. Maxted got a fly, but it was punched away by the Bulldogs out of bounds, and we'll get it thrown in. One of the Gisborne bench watching on down there. Of course, Rob Waters back in charge at Gisborne for season 2024. Thrown in. Knocked down. Trying to go through for the Dragons with Walsh. No real clean possession. The Dogs now can get it. They'll send it inside forward 50. That comes from Dylan Johnson. High ball. And a mark's been taken. Strong mark. And it has been claimed for Gisborne. A real packed form. And he was just a little bit too strong, Jace.
He was in front of the pack too. Just stuck the hands up and it stuck him. So Jack Scanlon. Good contested mark, Jack Scanlon. Probably pretty underrated here in Bendigo. I think he's one of the best pack marks in the competition.
Decent run up on him. When he releases the kick of the footy, he'll be about 45 metres out. Not too much of an angle to deal with. About 2 metres inside the left-hand goalpost. In comes Scanlon for a much-needed goal for the Bulldogs. It swings back late, but he's just pulled it to the left and through for a minor score. So Gisborne get their second score. They are 2 behind. They'll trail this one by an even 2 goals. Sandhurst 2-2-14 as we approach red time in the opening quarter. Score sponsor, Bendigo City Framers. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Smith will bring it in to the Dragons. Plays on from fullback. Sends it swinging pool side. They'll set themselves back of the pack. Big fly it was by Spear. Couldn't quite drag it in. Now off half back. The Dragons. We're seeing them do it a lot this afternoon already. They rebound. Now to a foot race. It's 2-on-2. The Scovey getting involved. Over the top to the skipper. Reaper involved as well. And the handball was a little bit errant. In fact, it might go over, and it is. It'll be a ball in. 70 around from the Dragons' goal. They lead by 12 points. 19.5 gone opening term. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Boundary umpire throw the ball back into play. Blake wins it down. Going in hard for Gisborne, and winning it will be Benaki. Haven't heard too much of his name as of yet. There goes down the line. And a big pack of players will dive on top of this one. And the umpires have been happy to let the boys play so far today, Jace.
Yeah, they have been, Cam. It's actually interesting you mentioned Benaki. I think Santa's putting a bit of work into Benaki at the moment as far as their matchups go, but Lakey seems to be getting the ball a fair bit for Gisborne, so that might be the one that's getting off the chain.
They're thrown in. McKenna got it. Fired out a handball to a teammate that was under all sorts of pressure. Lakey then goes through. He's been busy early. Unable to claim possession before he is taken in the tackle. Ball goes into the hands of the umpire out there. Throws the ball back up, centre wing position Full side here at the QEO. Kick was partially smothered. Blake's in there. So too Walsh. Gisborne and get it, work it forward. That was Jackson Cardillo. He's bouncing ball. Around the top of 50. And the boundary line wins out, as it so often does. It'll be thrown in about 40 metres out from goal. Gisborne haven't found that goal yet, but they've had plenty of chances in the last 5 minutes. But it is only a 2-goal game.
Barnard Street end. Umpire will throw it in. Up they'll go in the ruck. Doing the ruck work, the Dragons will be Sexton. Contest, bottom of the pack. Picked up eventually. McKenna getting involved to the back door. Now it's a quick kick in by the Dogs. Poor kick. Ruff tried to tackle. Might have been a little severe. Umpire let it go, and they were all jumping in over the footy end each other. And 35 directly in front, and Gisborne will have the ball up.
Amazing, beautiful, clear day at the QEO, and we're getting stoppage after stoppage.
Certainly are. It's kind of, it's really closed up in the last 5 or 10 minutes of this game. We're going to have a secondary stoppage. In fact, we're not keeping the stats, but we've got about 20, it feels like, in the space of not very long. We'll do it all again. 40 out from goal. Gisborne trail. 2 behinds. It's in their forward zone to 14. 22 minutes gone, opening turn.
If we can clear it out. It's a free kick for a high tackle in there, which is going to go the way of the Dragons. So they'll win and be able to clear it out of defence. Handball lay off to the run of Walsh, who chips down the poolside wing. Finds a teammate, far side of the QEO. Got some options back in the middle, but wheels around on the right and then just sends it down the line, but it's going to be an intercept mark, and relatively easy intercept mark for the like of Jack Reaper, who quickly plays on and sends it down towards Lakey.
Lakey, good contested mark. He's in front.
Had a very good first quarter.
He has. He's getting his hands on the footy. He'll go inside forward 50, looking for McKenna, juggling. And I reckon the mark's been played. Umpire's a lot closer than me, but it seemed to come off hands. But Noah Walsh was at the back of the pack. In fact, it was Hood. Short pass. Sharing it nicely here off half-back will be the Dragons. Smith weaves. He'll send it wide. For the Dragons, Max did his target, playing up the ground. Handball over the top to Connick, who ran on. Connick now inside forward 50. He heads towards the boundary line near the scoreboard. Stocker off the ground. It's the Dragons who are pushing forward. And it goes out of bounds, hard up against the point post. Looking for another opportunity deep in their forward zone. Late in the opening term. They lead by 2 goals straight, the Dragons. 23 gone. Opening term. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Boundary umpire throw the ball back into play. Plenty of players falling down off the ball. Plenty of push and shove going on out there. Some there, some not so much there, but ball thrown in. Gisborne should be able to find themselves out of trouble here. They do. It ends up in the hands of Lakey, who has been the everywhere man. He gets it off. Scanlon's got it under all sorts of pressure. That was Sam Graham. Now the Dragons turn it over. Max there with a nice little short 15-metre pass. And it finds its way into the hands of Oscar Perez, who is almost on the boundary. And if he used to kick from here, he'll have to kick from almost underneath the scoreboard, right on the paint of 50. He wastes no time loading up on the right. It's a good-looking kick, and he's got it. Well, it must be in the name Perez. That is an absolute beauty, and Sandhurst skip away to an 18-point lead on the death of quarter time. They are 3 goals to 20. Gisborne Bulldogs 2 behinds. Red time 25 minutes. Opening quarter. Jason Westcott Builder. Score sponsor. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Just taking their opportunities, aren't they, Cam? They're sort of pretty even contest for the last sort of 10 to 12 minutes. And Gisborne haven't taken those chances down the other end, and Sandhurst gets it down and pick one from under their scoreboard. So that's probably the difference in the game at the moment.
Sandhurst had 2 shots. Gisborne had 2 shots from a similar position up the other end. Out of bounds on the full. Oscar Perez kicks that goal.
So back in the middle. Restart here. Up they go in the ruck. For the Dogs, it will be Zach Danaher. Punched forward in attack. Now, again, the Dragons, but the Dogs, but the Dragons, as so their style is just to move it off half back, and they're doing it here again. Perez on the end of it, sends it to Connick. Connick 70 out from goal, kicking to the city end. He'll go long to the top of the square. They'll set themselves. Pack of players Front and centre, Paul Pratt tried to sweep on it and couldn't for the Dragons. Lakey under pressure for the Dogs. They just they work it nicely. Ended up there with the Dogs through Lynch. Lynch probably dangerously decides to keep it alive and puts it corridor. Now it spills out to the outer side wing, swimming pool side. Dogs have got numbers. Smothered kick now. Contest. Turnover. In fact, it might be a ball up. It is on the outer side. Umpire tried to let it get out and it couldn't. And we'll have a ball up. 18-point margin. Dragons lead. 25.5 gone. Opening term. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Got McKenna up around the stoppage here, boys, too.
Ball thrown in. Sandhurst work it forward. Tarju fired off a teammate. Inside they go. Green's got a one-on-one. Kick just carried. Good defence for the Bulldogs. That was really well done. That was the Scovey. And they managed to work themselves out of a little bit of pressure there. And it's in the hands of Lakey. Lakey then chips and finds another teammate. And Gisborne can really control the footy as we head towards quarter time. Kick goes down the line, pull side, spills out the back. Here's a chance for Benaki. He fires a handball over the top. Now they've got the chance inside 550. It's a 3-on-2 if the ball hits the ground. Should be a chance here for the Dogs. Great defence by Sandhurst. They're content to see the boundary.
Deliberate.
And, well, insufficient intent. I think it was there, and it is going to be a free kick up against the boundary. I'm not sure who the offender was, but he was quite happy to tap the ball over the boundary line, which is about 10 metres away.
A fair bit of pressure down there at that point in time.
Comes in on the right, it snaps and bends. And through for a minor score. So Gisborne get their third minor. They're 3 behind. Sandhurst 3-2-20. 26 minutes gone in the opening quarter. This is Westcott Builder. Score sponsor, local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. Sandhurst will bring the ball back into play. They play on out of defence and they come down the grandstand side wing. Getting a
Funny, Cam, we said off air this is a long way from over. I know Gisborne's failed to hit the scoreboard yet as far as the major goes, but the game just feels like there's a chance for Gisborne to get back into this really, really quickly.
I don't know if it's a myth, but I always seem to find that the city end of the ground always tends to be a little bit more scoring. Even on a nice day, it's just a little trend that I've noticed. I'm not sure if you think that as well, but
yeah, certainly the games that I've watched and experienced here at QEO, it seems to be the case. I'm not sure if there is any statistics behind it, but it certainly seems to be the case.
So the second quarter is about to get underway. It is Sandhurst leading this one 3-2-20, Gisborne 4 behind. Cracking day for footy, cracking crowd. But we are a little bit delayed as we wait for the crowd to clear off the ground. of the quarter time huddle. Plenty of Sandhurst support here. Big day for them. Past premiership reunions. Of course, they are selling plenty of memberships as well in their Golden Dragon function. So the Dragons have got a 16-point lead in this game. The second quarter is about to get underway once we wait for the crowd to clear off the ground. Big crowd trying to clear through a little small space. It will open up more fences to clip the game, let the crowd up a little bit quicker, I think, guys.
I used to jump the fence, I must say, McCann. That's probably might be beyond me now. I might not be able to do that. But yeah, but the wider gate might work.
So in the middle, Johnny Norton will have the ball. He puts it aloft. The second quarter, it's the Dragons leading by 16 points. Here's John Hunter.
Looks like Noah Walsh has gone into the middle, but I really like him across half-back. He provides that much drive. Blake grabs it out of the air from the ruck. He'll kick it to space. McKenna runs onto it. 70 from goal. On the left, it was his wrong foot, one would suggest, with that delivery, as he puts it out of bounds on the full underneath the scoreboard. So it'll be a free kick for the Dragons to go to Campbell.
And Campbell's got it. Down the pull side wing they go. A little wrestling down there. I want able to take the clean possession for the mark.
Didn't take us long. We've got that Lakey Walsh matchup now. One quarter in, we've got that matchup.
Fascinating battle. There's a little bit going on off the ball as there has been all afternoon. Got Braden Blake going up against Nick Stagg. A bit of a fight match up there. I'd say cracking Braden Blake in that one. Sandhurst went down. Hardu gets it, sends it forward. Wharton buzzing around there, unable to take clean possession there. With Jake McLean. Now the Bulldogs can try and get it. They go one way then the other. Ball spills out wide into Ryan Burke. They've worked this out okay, but the kick just had a little bit too much on it for the intended target, which was Dylan Johnson. And reading it nicely for the Dragons will be Cooper Smith.
Smith now goes across half back. Dragons bring Mills, Tardrew across half back. Now they'll release to the outer side. This is where they look good, the Dragons. Running on there will be Alex Horton. Alex Horton will go inside forward 50 with another turnover, a poor kick. So a series of errors by both clubs at the moment. Now the ball comes out from the Dogs and another one. The target was Lord, but they kicked it out of bounds on the full Dogs. Got to be free kick to Joel Wharton. Doesn't muck around. Puts it into the hot spot. Top of the square. Running on towards Fergus Green. He hasn't been prominent so far this afternoon. Has a flying shot at goal and puts it through for a minor score. So it's 21 playing 6. Sandhurst lead 8.5 gone. Second turn local footy live at Bendigo.
He'll bring the ball back into play. Rush this one out. They work it into just outside 50 now. Options on the handstand side if they want it. They kick short. It finds Dennehay. Dennehay then sends it wide. It's Jet. The kick that came off was smothered. And they got it thrown in. Through centre. Wasting no time, we'll throw this ball back into play. Right in front of our broadcast position here at Queen Elizabeth Oval, which is absolutely bathed in sunshine. A fantastic day for footy. Ball spills out the pack. Lakey's lurking, couldn't get it. Sandhurst will get it. With Zach Calpratt, sends it high inside forward 50. Trying to get it. They might have been playing for a little bit of a hold free kick there. Lockie Wright didn't come. Ball spills over the back and then punched off hand. Out of bounds for a boundary throw in. Deep inside forward 50 for the Sandhurst Dragons.
Pile throw back in. Muck around. Well, he did muck around for quite a while and then he threw it high in the air, waiting for it to come into play, and now we'll have a stoppage. So not reaching any dizzy heights when it comes to a spectacle, that's for sure, Chase.
No, certainly not.
Into the flat, still leading over to Maryborough 35 to 25. Castlemaine 37 to 9. They trail against the Blokes. As the ball comes to the wing, Broadcar side, it was a kick out from the Dogs that was ineffective. So Alex Wharton for the Dragons will get a free kick. Plays on. Long and high. He'll be looking for Green down in that forward zone. Big punch. It was very good by Zach Dennehy of the Dogs. Puts it out of bounds. And it will be a ball in. Big fist. 21 playing 6. Dragons. They lead. Dogs haven't hit the scoreboard yet in a major way, and it's 11 minutes gone second term.
But they're still right in the contest. Gisborne only 15 points behind. You just feel like this next goal of this game is going to be absolutely crucial. Goals are pretty hard to come by, which is certainly going against my prediction of a real high-scoring affair this afternoon so far. Ball goes back to the bottom of the pack, and again we'll get another ball up, which has been a bit of a theme of this quarter. We hold ball up.
Just what's hard to do at the stoppages here, boys. They're trying to open up space for getting through. Notice that last one, he came straight through unopposed.
Ball Ball goes up. Maxwell went down in the ruck contest. Gisborne trying to find a way out. Lakey's got it. He's quickly strongly tackled. I'll tell you what, the umpires are getting their money's worth this afternoon in terms of ball ups. If there's a KPI for how many ball ups you have to perform during a game, I reckon they'd be well on their way to ticking that box this afternoon.
You know what a KPI is, Ken? Yeah. Don't ask me why that surprises me, but it just does surprise me a little as the Docs through Harry Thomas. Cops it up, gave it to Connick. Connick of the Drag, and he'll go to the goal square. Probably didn't look, and he kicked it straight to Reaper. Again, another turnover. Well, counting turnovers again this afternoon, along with stoppages. We'd be out of ink, I reckon, Jace. I think in trouble, yep. It's not reaching any dizzy heights. It goes to the outer side. 70 metres out from the Dragons' goal. We'll have a ball in. Go around the grounds for North Central at quarter time. Wedderburn 1-3-9. Trail Sea Lake Mandalay 3-2-20. Witchy-Proof St Arnold. Witchy-Proof lead 31-9. And Birchip Watcham 3-2-20 to Donald 3-1-19. And there is an evening game, 6 o'clock start. Port play Charlton in North Central.
Ball goes up. Gisborne will try and work it forward. And they do. It goes about 10 metres further forward, out of bounds, true centre wing position, far side of the ground. Queen Elizabeth Oval. Imagine might be a few people in the pool this afternoon, which is...
Oh, come on, it's not that warm, is it, Ken?
Eye out in the sun. Gisborne work it forward. And we'll get another stoppage, so...
Are you bored with this game, Ken? It's actually got a little bit of a feel about it. There's not a lot happening, is there, Joe?
No, it's quite a frustrating game. You're just waiting for something to happen. Lots of stoppages after stoppage. I think both coaches have been relatively happy though at the moment, so...
Got a rugby feel about it there.
Yeah, it has, exactly.
Scrum after.
27 points in total scored, 13 minutes into the second quarter. What is a perfect day for football. And a reasonable crowd in here to see this one as well. Ball goes up. Both teams, I'll give their credit, both teams are tackling extremely well, John.
The intensity is really good. And you can actually see that both teams respect each other, the way they're accountable to their opponent. They're not peeling off.
Almost as if you come here for the heavyweight title and they're just kind of sparring each other, and
that's right.
We all want them to just get in there and chin one of them. No, that's effectively what's happening. We're expecting fireworks right from word go, and it's just a really dour affair. There's a bit going on the forward line with a few of the boys getting a little bit excited, as we've got another stoppage clearly over the other side. That's why we're talking about other stuff. So let's have a look what's going on again. Another ball in. Swimming pool side, outer side, 21 playing 6. So it's a close game on the scoreboard, so let's hope it sticks that way for the remainder of the game, and it will if it's such a stop and start. Again, looks like no clean possession. Players diving in after the footy. A little bit dangerous there, and umpires letting it go, and another whistle. So a stoppage. True centre wing, outer side, 21 playing 6. Dragons lead. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
There's plenty of chances, but both teams just fumbling at that key moment at the moment. They try and get that handball out. So Gisborne will knock it forward. Can they try and work something? Oh, at the moment, if you're a ruckman, you'd be trying to send it as far forward as possible. Game of territory. Gisborne get it. They'll go inside forward 50. They need a mark. Ball spilled to the back of the pack. And Sandhurst should have the numbers to clean up. Oh, dangerous handball. Umpires fucked out a free kick, which might get him out of trouble. And it'll be a free kick which will go the way of Liam Island for the Dragons.
We feel like with Scanlon up in the ruck, and Cam just whack that forward and just forward in the ruck, just move it as fast as you can forward.
Not a bad play at the moment. Island's kick is sent down the line and flying high, knocking the ball over the boundary line was Jed Dennehy. Haven't heard too much of the two Dennehy's for Gisborne this afternoon. Key players in his Gisborne team. I feel like the game is not too far away from someone doing something special to break this game open. Ball goes up, and the boundary throw in. It's a very congested game of footy. There's just so many players all around the footy that when someone does get an opportunity to break, they're not wanting to pull that kick off because they've got nothing to kick to.
It looks like an under-12 game with all the kids around the footy, doesn't it?
Ball up. Benaki's in there for Gisborne. He went in for the tackle, and he's going to get a free kick for a high tackle. Might have been a little bit lucky to get that one, I think, Benaki, but he has it. He's a terrific user of the footy. Can he do something for his Gisborne side? on the right foot. It's a low ball inside forward 50. No mark taken. Spills around at the bottom of the pack. Braden Blake goes through. He was tackled. Goes up in the middle. Blake gets it. System trying to string 2 goals together quickly. They do. They'll probably be happier with the two sides going into the half. Find another one before half time and have it within a 6. Ball up in the middle. Walsh has got it. He's tackled as soon as he gets to the next little ball. This centre managed to work it forward. Isn't it like rugby? Without really getting much of a possession, they've worked it from the centre to about 60 out from home. Going through, handball which comes from Ollie Hanrahan was dropped off by Sam Graham. His handball was ineffective as well. And that's cleared out of defence and we'll go up to the centre wings where we'll get it thrown in. 3-3-21 Dragons.
guaranteed. You can do it at City Framers. You can do it by capturing your glory days, capturing moments and creating unique memories for teams or individuals. You can do it by remembering this year in sport. You can do it with a framed jumper, poster as a club trophy or glory days keepsake. Fresh sponsor Bendigo City Framers proudly support Bendigo football in 24. As a matter of fact, you can do it now.
Steve Barty Gas is your local supplier of household, LPG cylinders, forklift, industrial and hospitality gases. They refill or exchange barbecue and camping cylinders and have a range of lubricants and greases. Steve Barty is a local bloke and has serviced Castlemaine and surrounding districts for over 40 years. For great service and competitive prices, contact fresh sponsor Steve and the team on 5472 1262 or info@stevebartygas.com.au.
Fresh sponsor Parsons Towing Castlemaine is a 24/7 towing service covering all your towing needs, from accidents to breakdowns. Parsons Towing can handle anything from cars, trucks, buses, machinery, containers, even motorcycles. Parsons Towing is a family-owned business that understands the importance of prompt, professional service. Parsons Towing has now joined the team at Bellevue Panels in Bendigo, covering a larger area. To get you back on track anytime, anywhere. ParsonsMotorBody.com.au.
Local first fresh sponsor Jason Westcott Builder, where your dreams become a reality. Whether it's crafting bespoke 5-bedroom homes or breathing new life into cherished spaces with renovations and extensions, they're there for you every step of the way. With a dedicated team and a commitment to exceeding your expectations, Jason Westcott Builder is your partner in creating the home you've always envisioned. Visit them online with their galleries and begin your journey at Jason Westcott Builder.
Fresh sponsor. Finn, Shane and the team at Fitzpatrick's Timber and Hardware are proudly celebrating 100 years of serving the local community with a well-stocked timber yard, a fantastic product range in store, a great garden centre and stocking King's products. The team at Fitzy's greet you with a smile and are well known for their wonderful service. Fresh sponsor, Fitzy's, caring for our local community for 100 years.
Local First Bendigo's Fresh FM.
the Storm. And here at the QEO, it is Gisborne trailing 2-6-18 to Sandhurst 5-5-35. And also we'll have a look at North Central. I'll get you those scores as they come to hand. You MCD FNL, Cam, half-time?
Half-time score, Denali, they were comfortably ahead of Navarre. 10 goals, 1 to 3 goals straight was the half-time score. And they also won the reserves by 67 points. So a good day so far for Denali at their temporary home ground of Hedges Oval against Navarre.
And I'll get you to give us some better players shortly, Jason, but we're just about to get this one underway. The players are out and about in the QEO, drawing long shadows, perfect conditions. Sun is shining here. So it's half-time, just about to get the third term underway. 2-6-18 Gisborne, the Dogs. They trail Sandhurst 5-5-35. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. Here's Cam Power.
You get the ball in the middle of the ground, as they do to start every quarter. Gisborne will win the clearance through Blake, but they go backwards to go forwards. It's in the hands of Burke. Trying to work it forward. Good tackling pressure from the Dragons. It's a hot little footy. Well, at least we've got it out. Lakey sends it backwards. He finds Shapano. Shapano sends it down the line. Umpire's free kick's going to go the way of the Bulldogs. They'll wheel and go inside forward 50 from Jack Scanlon. Sends it to the hot spot. No one able to take the mark. And Sandhurst should have the numbers to clear. Oh, dropping the ball, though. It wasn't good for Cooper Smith. It just brought the ball back into the pack. Free kick is plucked out for a hold, and it's going to go the way of the Dragons, and they're lucky to get out of trouble there, Jace.
They are, but it's nice to see the ball actually on the outside, Cam, and it's moving. That's better than a stoppage.
Haven't seen too much possession footy going down the wing. It's been a lot of centre congestion. Sandhurst will play. And they come down the line looking for Max there, but the kick's gone out of bounds on the full. Not his greatest kick there for the Dragons.
6 or 7 times the ball's been out in the full in that location today.
Yeah, it's just bit of a funny one. Bulldogs will bring the ball back into play. It's Sam Graham. High ball inside 450, looking for the fly. Didn't get it. Working down there was Zach Dennehy. Been a bit quiet for his standards. Sandhurst will look to bring the ball out of defence. But it's chopped off the handball from Walsh. Bulldogs will get it. High ball inside 450 and coming out and marking on his chest for the Dogs, which will result in a shot at goal 30 metres out, pretty much directly in front. It's a good opportunity for them to get the first goal on the board through Pat McKenna.
Height on the forward 50 entry.
We've talked about that. 3 or 4 times they've sent it in a high without these little worm burner kicks, I guess you could call them. They've been able to get on the end of it. But a big opportunity here for McKenna. He'll kick from 40 metres out, sliders to Vangles, but this would get the Bulldogs up and going to start the second half. In he comes, should kick it, and he does. He celebrates before it even goes over. The goal umpire did not move, and the Bulldogs get the first of the second half. So they go to 3 goals, 6-24. They trail the Sandhurst Dragons in this one, but it is an opening goal to the Dragons. 5-5-35, 2.5 minutes gone. Third quarter. Jason Westcott Builder, score sponsor where local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Some different players starting to get an start to influence the game for Gisborne as well, which is actually a positive sign for them. So Sam Graham sort of touching the footy a little bit more late in that second quarter, and now again early to start this quarter. But it's just like I said, nice to see the ball on the outside and had a bit of connection to the play.
Our sponsors, Bendigo City Framers, have got a $100 voucher for framing for a best player. So, Jason, when we get a break, I'll get you to give us who you think is in contention, and which is probably a good time now for Gisborne.
For Gisborne, it's probably their captain. At the moment, has actually been pretty good down back, Jack Reefer. And the defenders largely have been their best players, along with Lakey through the middle.
So we've got a secondary. It was a ball up as a stoppage from the restart in the middle, and we're going to have a third one as Lakey tried to emerge. In fact, it might be a free kick. It'll go the way of the Dragons. Didn't quite see what it was for. Now it'll be a long kick by Paul Pratt. He'll go shallow inside 50, bounces to the back of the pack. Mopping up work, Bulldogs ends up with the skipper. Through Reaper. Reaper goes to Spear. Kick is long towards the wing. Hits the pack hard. It was nice by Dennehy. This is Zach. Zach on left half back. Ran into a bit of trouble. He had no awareness of, well, 3 Dragons around him, causes a turnover. Handball ended up with Paul Pratt. He goes inside forward 50 to the hot spot. and luckily the skipper is there to take a mark in Reaper. Just no awareness whatsoever, Jason.
No awareness, but I like it. It's actually trying to make the play, try and move it on.
Well, we've seen a lot more of the ball in the movement in this first 4 minutes of the third quarter. We're hoping for it to open up a bit, and so far it has. That mark was juggled by Scanlon. Umpire said he had enough of it, much to the disgust of the Sandhurst player on the mark. But Scanlon's got it. True centre wing position for the Dogs. They've got the opening goal of the third quarter. The margin now sits at 11 points. He decides to go short. It's in the hands of Dylan Johnson. Johnson will send it in and look for a fly. Coming across from the side, McKenna knocked it forward. Here's a chance for the Dogs if they can work it out. Cardillo's down there. Sandhurst do well to force a stoppage. We'll get it thrown up. In fact, it may have actually gone over the boundary line, so we'll get it thrown in. Inside forward 50 for the Dogs. They've got all the running to start the second half. Knocked down. Tarju's kick was partially smothered. High ball coming out of there. No one able to get on the end of it. Went about 15 metres high, but only about 5 metres forward. And the umpire will ball the ball up. 50 out from goal. Dogs are looking to press. Blake's got it. High ball will just go inside forward 50. Big fly coming across. Strong grab. That is a really good fly and a strong mark taken. He's backing himself in to go back. He'll have to kick it all of 50 metres. Harry Luxmore. But that was a nice grab again with a high ball inside forward 50.
It's interesting. It's not the way you want to take the ball inside 50 every time, but certainly you give it a bit of height. These forwards seem to jump at the ball really well from a Gisborne perspective. So
Harry Luxmore will kick from right on 50 when he releases the ball. Oh, that's an absolute shocker. Doesn't make the distance. And in fact, it nearly went out of bounds on the full. But it is touched over the boundary. That's not his best effort. I'm sure he'd like to have that one again, Jace.
Yeah, he certainly would. Wasn't the best strike of the football. But good positive signs for Gisborne camp.
You'd almost rather that than a behind no, because it forces the ball to stay inside forward 50 from the stoppage. So can Gisborne get on top? Going down. Walsh chases after it, as does Cardillo. I haven't heard a lot of him so far. Big new recruit for the Dogs this season. Big crowd here, as you can hear in the background. Ball thrown in. Plenty of support here for Sandhurst. McKenna, fight out a handball, come across. It's going to be Luxmore, might be a chance to redeem himself, and he's got it. Terrific goal from Harry Luxmore, and redeemed himself from the set shot a couple of minutes earlier with a snap from 45. And the Bulldogs have dragged it back to a 5-point margin. 4-6-30, Sandhurst 5-5-35. 8 minutes gone, third quarter. Bendigo City Framers score sponsor where local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Funny game, isn't it? Set shot, plenty of time. Take your time, think about it. Miss it by a mile. No time, under pressure, drop it on the boot. Natural instinct, straight through.
Back in the middle. Tightened up here, hasn't it? 5-point margin. Sandhurst lead. Gisborne have come out. The Dogs have come out snarling, as it's a big punch by Sexton. Turnover, though, ended up with Blake. Blake of the Dogs spreads it wide. They've got the numbers here, the Dogs. They'll go inside forward 50 again to the top of the square. Sam Graham swoops on the ball, looked to go around the body, then gave it off unselfishly and cocked it up. But it's Benaki, handball, goes to McKenna around the body and kicks a goal. They've hit the front, the Dogs. 1-point margin, 5-6-36, 5-5-35 Sandhurst. 8 minutes gone. Score sponsor, Parsons Towing in Castlemaine. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
I haven't seen the sign go up in front of us, boys, but if that's a slow down sign, I think Sandhurst needs to actually just get their hands on the footy and control it here a little bit. Gisborne's got all the momentum and clearly have changed their style of play to move it to the outside rather than get stuck in the contest. So a really good start of the quarter by the Dogs.
They kicked 3 goals in 8 minutes, where they only managed 2 goals in 2 quarters of footy. So how things change. Ball up. Tarju's got it. Sends the ball forward in the direction of a teammate there. Wright was there, couldn't get it. Dragons will get it inside forward 50. Going over the back of the pack, no mark taken. Centre of the forward 50. And we'll get another ball up.
It's exactly where Sandhurst want to be.
Umpire Norton wastes no time throwing the ball up. Wright got it, knocked it down. It comes out wide. Gisborne will clear the ball out of defence. Knock her off the ground. Might work out okay. It's in the hands of Harry Thomas. Now they can run. One bounce, two bounces. Fires the handball over top, and then one too many handballs turned over. It's in the hands of Hood for the Dragons. Oh, his kick's going to be turned over as well. A little bit of turnover happening in this game at the moment. Merritt, quick to fire off the handball to Lynch. Inside forward 50 they go. It comes from Benaki. Benaki loads up from 45 and goals it. It is all Gisborne to start the third quarter. They have got 4 now in the third. 6-6-42. Sandhurst 5-5-35. Little bit of brilliance from Bad Benaki. 10 minutes gone, third quarter. Parsons Towing, Castlemaine. Score sponsor, Local Footy Lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Did we swap venues at halftime, boys? This is a
Swap. Was there swapping going on or not?
Totally different game than what we saw in the first half. This is open, free-flowing. Sandhurst really needs to get their hands back on the footy here and try and slow it down.
They were impressed with your summary at half-time before they went to the break and heard it, Jason. And, yeah, just amazing turnaround. They've had a little bit of a reassess and they've come out fighting here, the Dogs. Probably overzealous free kick there. They're going to just give away this little bit of momentum that they had. It'll be Paul Pratt. In fact, it was Tardrew who went long inside forward 50, picked up by Joel Wharton. He's on a pretty tight angle and he's slotted it. Wrong side for the left footer. He ran towards the boundary line to the scoreboard and just slotted it through nicely. And I reckon he started punching the air before it almost left his foot. And, well, tightens it back up to a 1-point margin. 6-5 to 6-6. 6-5-41, 6-6-42. 11 gone, third term. Score sponsor, Bendigo City Framers. Local Footy Lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Now, we've been banging on about entries all day, boys, but again, that entry came in. Fergus Green one-on-one. Ball spills. Easy crumb. Good goal to finish it. But we need to make sure that those entries are clean. And if they are, they've got a chance to score.
Back in the middle we go. Game has really opened up, and now Sandhurst get back on top. Tarju, 10-metre handball forward. Wharton, ball bounces out the back. Here's a chance for the Dragons from 40 out. It's going to go right to the top of the square, and good defence for the Dogs. Able to see it through. 4 behind was Vescovi. And the Dogs, well, scores a level here. 11 minutes gone in the third quarter. Gisborne quickly bring the ball back into play, and they'll look to clear down the grandstand side wing.
Vescovi went to Reaper by foot, and then Reaper went beyond 50, and his target, well, he didn't hit it. He hit up good for Sandhurst. Has been pretty good for the Dragons. So they'll bring it inside forward 50 again now, the Dragons. There's a lead on. He honours it. Ran hard at the footy. Might have been Campbell, where in fact it was Fergus Green.
A free kick off the ball right in front of our broadcast position. It was Caleb Connick that gave Dylan Johnson a little bit of a push well off the ball. Umpire spotted it, so Dylan Johnson will be in position. Just had to be looking at the right place at the right moment to see that one then. But
Fergus Green, he must be thinking, what are these boys doing? Because that was a pretty tight lead and it was ineffective. As Johnson looked to go corridor and the umpire said, you'll wait till I say you can do it. So we'll just wait till the reset. Dylan Johnson for the Dogs. Left half back, he's on broadcast side. Short pass back into his defensive 50 to Reaper. Reaper spreads it further afield, so they've seesawed from one half back to another. Then comes inboard to Lakey. Lakey, defensive side of the centre circle. In fact, he's close to centre half back. Then another short pass. Spear plays on quickly after receiving that kick. Goes long. Oh, it spills to the back of the pack around the body. Danaher. I was going to say Danaher, but it wasn't either of them. It was McKenna who went round the body as well. Looking very dangerous. Slotted it through for a minor one, so it's a 2-point margin. 13 gone, in fact 1-point margin. It's Gisborne by that solitary point. 13 minutes gone, third term. Local Footy Lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Well, now all of a sudden it's turned into a ripping game of footy, end-to-end stuff after what was a bit of a stale first half after stoppage. But we'll take it. Dragons bring the ball back into play. Far side wing, Maxted the target down there, spills out the back. Now they chip forward, but it's turned over. Gisborne have got it. Lynch can send it up towards centre half forward. Mark's been taken. Nice grab. He'll wheel around onto the left. That's Zach Danahay. Good looking ball. Oh, didn't quite carry. Important fist from Oscar Perez. If he didn't get that pissed in, it was big trouble. It spills out. Player's been tackled as he was trying to clear. Might have been Harry Free trying to clear it out of defence, and he's been taken, and a high free kick's been rewarded for holding the ball.
Harry Luxmore, I think.
So Harry on Harry.
Harry.
And Harry will have a shot for goal while Harry stands the mark. Harry Luxmore, he's got one this quarter. His last effort a set shot from here was an absolute shocker. Let's see if he can do one better. 35 metres out, not too much of an angle. Steady approach on the right, and he hangs it out to the right. It's low, and it goes through for a minor score. So they increase their lead. They've doubled it. 6-8-44, Sandhurst 6-6-42. 15 gone in the third quarter. Score sponsor, JB Restumping. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
So it'll be a restart. Kicking from fullback. Dragons' intended target was Walsh, who was good enough to take it. Looks to bring it down broadcast side. Short pass. James Coughlin's been relatively quiet in his 100th. He's got a player running side by side. Shotgun he goes. Long kick. Turnover now. Ends up with the Dogs. Reaper. Handball over the top. Shapano getting involved. Jed Danahy. Long kick. He'd given that ball to Shapano, who kicked it to the wing. And we might have a whistle. We do. It might be a free kick. And it'll go to Oscar Perez, centre wing.
So Oscar Perez has it right in front of our broadcast position. He's told to play on. As a result, he just poked a kick forward, which was ineffective. Gisborne players ran into each other, but Lakey's able to recover it. Gives it off to Jared Lynch. Lynch's kick sent wide. And basically back to where we started. So the Dragons will intercept the mark. They come down the line. Leading hard at it was Lockie Wright, but it was a terrific punch from Jed Danahy to get the ball over the boundary. If he didn't get that fist in, it would have been a simple chest mark and the Dragons were on. But important defence. We've worked from Danahy. Ball gets thrown in now, right in front of our broadcast position again. 70 out from goal if you're a Sandhurst supporter. Going towards the city end of the ground. Taking possession of the ball for the Dogs was Dylan Johnson. And like a front rower, he was trying to find the boundary line for a try, and that was rewarded with a boundary throw in.
Bendigo City Framers, we've got a Best Player Award, our sponsor for $100. My job to pick out a Sandhurst player who I think's in contention. It's been hard in this third term because a lot of them have gone missing. I thought Noah Walsh has been pretty good, but apart from that, it's just a different game of footy as the Dragons do win possession on half-back now. Kicks it straight to the wing.
Is it one per team or just one overall?
No, one overall because it's $100.
Ollie Hanrahan.
Ollie Hanrahan. I should have written down the first time, shouldn't I?
Is it Hanrahan or Hannah Ford, boy?
Oh, yeah. I'll go with
Hannah Ford.
I was going to say, I know I'm going to pick out of you two. Not showing any favouritism. A short pass, sorry, Cam.
Can't read my own handwriting.
Yeah, your KPIs haven't been met with your handwriting, that's for sure. Lakey got it on halfback. Dogs spread it wide. They've got possession now. They've been super in this third term. Sharing it around nicely through Lord. Lord on right halfback, short pass down the line. Lakey, handball. Lord had ran on and he gave it to him, then goes inside forward 50. Connick got his hands on his footy, front and centre. It's a nice bit of work by Scanlon. He dances a dance, gives it to Benaki, tries the outside of the boot, not sure whether it was a target up forward or goes goalward. Real tight contest right up at the goal line. Holding the footy, and it'll go to Sandhurst. So good pressure to hold that up, Sandhurst. They've got away with one here. It'll be a short pass. And it ends up with Alex Wharton deep in his defensive zone, Dragons.
Alex Wharton will come down the grandstand side. On his right, it's a floating ball which goes in the direction of Hood. Couldn't quite take it. Spills off hand, sent inside forward 50 from Zach Danahy. Almost gets to the back. And Sandhurst were able to tidy up. They'll chip their way out through Tarju. Tarju fires off the handball to a teammate. Now they're on down the far side. Pelprat's got it. Kick needs to be good. It is. It can set up a run. Good handball forward. Now they're away inside forward 50. He's going to get a chance out the back. Hope if it carries, it'll be Connor Sexton. Didn't quite get there. Dragons have got to work this one out with all the numbers, and they don't. Terrific tackling from the Bulldogs. Their defence is just held up there. And they will get the ball, holding the ball. A Sandhurst player's gone down on the mark.
Fergus Green went down pretty easy. He's not having a good day, Fergus, is he?
Not, no.
So Gisborne have made able to work it out of defence. Zach Danahy has got it. Wheels around the boot. And his kick is intercepted across half-back by the Dragons. They'll chip into the middle of the ground and find Noah Walsh.
Yeah, with Fergus Green, if you didn't know what a superstar player he was, you'd think today that Matt is just, I wouldn't say a nobody, but he's just pretty pedestrian today.
Vescovi's done a really good job.
Yeah, well, let's not take anything away from Vescovi. It was Connick short pass, James Coughlin. As soon as I mentioned his 100th and he's been quiet, he's had about 4 possessions in a row. Son of Frank, poor kick.
I'd like that kick again, though.
Turnover. Kicked it straight to Braden Blake, who was on defensive 50. It was almost if Braden Blake called for it, to be honest. He might have. He very well might have. Braden Blake now. Son of a gun. Long, into the middle. No target. Kicked it to a contest. Spills in the direction of Mills. He was strong at the footy and was rewarded and was given a free kick for the Dragons. They'll go forward again.
Tarju's got it. He fires off a handball. Now they can run inside forward 50. Oh, Wharton's found himself in a paddock of space here.
Have a shot.
It's a good mark by Joel Wharton. He plays on quickly, fires it on goal and puts it through. Gives the fist to the big Sandhurst crowd watching on in the Golden Dragons marquee. And didn't they like that one? Joel Wharton's got 3 and the Dragons get a steadying goal that they needed and they take their lead to 7-6-48, Gisborne 6-8-44. 20 minutes gone in the third quarter. Score sponsor, Jason Westcott Builder. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Certainly been a change there, boys, too. Wharton's actually out of the goal square here at the minute, so I actually thought he came from up around about half forward to get on the end of that one and sort of be loose there, but I think he might have lost a Gisborne player in transition, so he's actually standing in the goal square as the full forward right at the moment. Nice to see him still wearing long sleeves, too, on a sunny day.
Wouldn't have it any other way, Jason. I used to wear them when it was 40 degrees. Probably something to do with the twigs I had for arms. Might have had something to do with it. As Benaki wins it in the middle now for the Dogs. They're looking for a reply. He goes straight down the gut. One-hander! Oh, he got caught out of a position, Harry Luxmore, and he launched himself late. Managed to get one hand on the footy. Just juggled it, and it dropped down into the breadbasket. And perfect example of keeping your eyes on your footy.
This will be his third in the quarter if he can go back and kick this, I'm pretty sure, isn't it? He's had a big quarter.
A contender for the Bendigo City Framers, our sponsors award, $100 framing this afternoon. He's come into contention and will kick his behind to make it 2 goals, whatever he's kicked.
He certainly kicked 3 points.
He certainly kicked 3 points, but give him a rap, but he's providing a target. 3-point margin, Dragons lead. 21.5 gone. Third term, local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Yeah, 1 goal, 3 for the quarter. Sandhurst will bring the ball into play. And it just feels like Gisborne have wasted a few opportunities, though. Far side wing, Sandhurst have got it. Tarju, handball off. They'll go towards the top of 50. The mark will be taken by Hannaford. Ollie Hannaford's got it. 70 out from home. He chips short. Nice little control kick to Stagg. So Stagg's got it. 60 metres out from goal. He's not backing himself in from here, is he? No, he chips it off into the lead. Oh, coming hard at it. Couldn't quite get to Fergus Green. Gisborne able to float back into the hole and take the intercepting mark. Kick comes wide. Not his greatest kick. Walsh is there for Sandhurst. Oh, he picked up the ball and he didn't get it a handball away. Dropped it as he was tackled. Good defence from the Dogs. He'll be disappointed in that one, Noah Walsh. And it will be a Gisborne free kick right in front of our broadcast position in the hands of Harry Luxmore, who's been absolutely everywhere in this third quarter. Been terrific. What do you want to do with it?
Short pass forward. Effective. Hit merit. Been relatively quiet compared to other games I've seen him. Short pass laterally. Barely the required distance. Puts them under pressure. Is it going to be a free kick? It's not. They might have numbers. They're nervous. Merritt wins it back. Inboard. Spear. Offered support. Then spreads it wide. And they're away. Through Gray. Gray will go long. Inside forward 50. Oh, strong mark. Has it been paid? It is. By Danahy. The two brothers collide, you think? Well, it was Zach Danahy who had eyes for the footy. Strong contested mark. And will line them up. Geez, I was up and about then, Jason, with that mark, surely.
Yeah, you were. It was a good mark. It could have been either Gisborne player, actually, that marked it. I think Zach was just stronger over the footy and good hands.
Yeah. Zach Danahy. 45-degree angle, minus score. Peppering away, wasting opportunities. They tighten the margin, 2-point margin. Dragons lead 48-46, 24 gone. Third term, Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
So it'll be brought back into play. Sandhurst. Well, got away with it. Stagg didn't quite take the mark, but it spills off hands. They can work it wide. That was Hannaford in there. Gisborne turn it over. Now they can try and get it inside. James Gray. Got it to the top of 50 off. Good strong take by Benaki. Then he's able to work it inside. Gisborne have got players out the back if they can get it there. They mess around with it a little bit, trying to find a way through. Sandhurst might get out of trouble, and I think Sandhurst will be relatively happy to force that one into a stoppage because there was a couple of Gisborne players out if that ball was able to get out the back there, Jace.
There's been so many more handballs and opportunities to actually get the ball out. It's amazing in the change of the game.
Up they go in the ruck. Whistle. Who's he going to play it to? It's going to go to Sandhurst. 11-point margin at Harry Trott. The Bloods lead Castlemaine. But over at Maryborough, Kangaroo Flat aren't in any danger of losing that game. The margin's out. I'll give it to you in a sec after this bit of play. Jake McLean goes there to Walsh. Walsh gives it to Tardrew. Tardrew now inside forward 50. They'll set themselves. 40 out from goal. Sandhurst attack. And as I just mentioned, it is Kangaroo Flat 91 leading Maryborough 58. So it doesn't look like the Kangaroo Flat will get beaten there, albeit there's a quarter to go. But they've been leading all day. 2-point margin here, Dragons lead. And we're in red time, third term.
Trying to find a way through the Dogs. Are they just going to try and hold on for the last couple of minutes? They did not concede in the last few minutes of the third quarter where they have been much improved. They found 4 goals in this quarter where they only found 2 in the first half. Ball goes up. Oh, Wharton sharked it. Will snap on goal. Joel Wharton couldn't add to his tally. It's through for a minor score. 7-7-49 the Dragons, 6-10-46 the Bulldogs, 26 minutes gone in the third quarter. Score sponsor, Jason Westcott Builder, local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
So the restart kick in from full-back. They've been better in this third term, the Dogs, just sharing it around generally. But Max Merritt now, underneath the scoreboard for the Dogs, sends it beyond 50. Good strong mark, 3 deep. I reckon a Dogs player's got his hands on that. He's claimed it. Might be Luxmore. Umpire didn't agree. In fact, it was Luxmore. Up they go in the ruck again. Stoppage. Braden Blake taps it. Tapped it in the direction of Ainsworth. They'll lose possession here. Ends up with the Dragons. Handball to the back door. Went to Maxted. Kicks it forward. Mark's been taken by Stagg, who's been relatively quiet now of the Dragons. He goes into the pocket. They'll set themselves. Hands on footy was right. Hurried kick now to the goal square, but there's no one home. And it's Reaper of the Dogs. He's in contention for the $100 voucher from our sponsor also, from Bendigo City Framers.
He's been superb. Reaper's kick found a teammate who was dealt with after he took the mark, and I think the 50-metre penalty has been paid. A little bit going on off the ball, and he's still down on the ground. A little bit of push and shove under the scoreboard there. I think the goal umpire's gone for a run around. Is that the goal? Oh no, the boundary umpire right on top of it to make sure nothing untoward happened. And we'll get the footy restarted 50 metres further up the ground towards Gisborne's way. Got some options in the middle of the ground. That's where they go. The pass will find its way to Macklin Lord. Macklin Lord on the left. His kick just had a little bit too much on it for its intended target. Dragons can try and work it forward, but there's plenty of Bulldogs around it. And we will get a ball up 60 out from goal. Gisborne in attack late in the third quarter. Braden Blake wins it down. Benaki lurking, couldn't quite take it. Sandhurst work it forward. In the hands of James Coughlin. Tarju was just too strong. He got it out. Found its way to McLean. McLean will send it down towards Wharton. Oh, Wharton was lurking. Tried to feed the handball off. Green was fumbled. Then he danced one way. Then he danced the other. Gave it off to Wharton. Wharton on the left. Fires it on goal. He's got 4. And Joel Wharton is a game changer and a big time goal for the Dragons. What a quarter he's having right in front of the Golden Dragons membership tent. Didn't he give them the big fist of a come on? 8-7-55. They're out by 9 points. Gisborne 6-10-46. Late in the third quarter. JB re-stumping. Score sponsor, local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Joel could easily had another one that shot before too. I think he had his finger up after he kicked the point. It must have been pretty close. So he's made a difference out of the goal square down here. It's they've seemed to have moved their forward line a little bit. Fergus Green's come up a bit higher, and they've gone with you've got Tardrew and Wharton down deep.
And even Green with that bit of play, I sound like I'm knocking Green, but he was a bit fumbly in that bit of play, wasn't he?
Yep,
it was.
Off.
Yeah, he had the support of Joel Wharton as we go inside forward 50 again for the Dragons. Dogs will respond through Zach Dennehy into the middle, but it's a poor kick. Coughed it straight up again. So they're working it nicely again. Short pass by Mills. Finds McLean. McLean to half forward. Benaki get his head over the foot. He nearly got it ripped off. 60 metres out in front of his defensive goal. We'll have a ball up. 55, playing 46. Gisborne pinched the lead. They've been super in this third team, but they've just lost it in this dying moments. So we're in for a ripping final term as we'll have a stoppage. Right on 55, directly in front. Dragons attack. Almost 30 minutes. Can they get a goal right on the death here where local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo?
Well, the answer to that question will we know because the siren sounds.
On again, boys.
Well, yeah, who on top? It's Alex Wharton in there. Nothing untoward going on there. They'll separate away into their own halves. A little bit of passion in this one early in the season, but it is what many are predicting as a grand final preview so early in the year. Sandhurst 8-7-55, Gisborne 6-10-46. Don't go anywhere for the last quarter though, because this is well and truly game on. Jason Westcott Builder, score sponsor, local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
It'll promise to be a cracking last quarter as we have a look at Bendigo Football Netball League scores. It is Kangaroo Flat leading Maryborough 91-59. The Bloods 88, Castlemaine 77 at Harry Trott. So potential close finish there. Golden Square 44, trail the Storm 61. And here at the QEO, it is Sandhurst. They lead 55-46. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
It's driving through the heat and the pouring rain. It's the champ who can't be beat.
and sportsmanship. We encourage creativity and build confidence through the arts. And a love and respect for the world around us. We embrace diversity so every child feels valued. Come be a part of our family and discover the joy of learning at your local Bendigo Catholic School.
Returning for more live footy, Footy Fresh is Bendigo Footy Live.
From the QEO, where it is three-quarter time here in the big clash between Sandhurst and Gisborne. Clash of the Titans, we build it as, and Gisborne was certainly impressive in that third term. They trail, however, 6-10-46 to Sandhurst 8-7-55. Three-quarter time out at Tullaline Road, it is Mount Pleasant 15-7 leading Huntley 3-7, so no great surprises out there. Also in the North Central half-time at Wedderburn 2-5-17 lead, Sea Lake Nandali 4-4-28, Witchy Proof Narraport 8-5-53 lead 6-3-39 St Arnaud, Birchip Watcham 4-6-30 leading Donald 3-2-20, and the Bort Charlton game is a 6 p.m. start this afternoon. And having a look at Princes Park in Maryborough, Kangaroo Flat kicking away 14-7-91 to 9-5-59 Maryborough. Harry Trott Oval, the Bloods 14-4-88 lead Castlemaine 12-5-77, so that game's still alive. And the Storm at Wade Street 9-7-61, they are leading Golden Square 5-4-44. And you mentioned to me off air that there's a spread of good Gisborne players there, Jason, namely.
Yeah, no, there is a big spread of good Gisborne players, which is good. It's a positive sign for them. But that quarter in particular was Luxmore. Harry Luxmore forward of the footy. Benaki got plenty of the ball then too in that quarter. He's starting to show his class, and I think Braden Blake in the ruck's actually starting to get first use for the Gisborne midfielders. So interesting finish coming up.
And Cam, I have been doing best players for Sandhurst, but we have got an award, the Bendigo City Framers $100 voucher. I want to see if you can influence me. Can you give me somebody from off the top of your head from Sandhurst who you thought? And I think this might be a little bit harder in this third term. No, give me someone from Sandhurst.
Well, my best on ground so far is from Gisborne, but look, if you're going to put me on the spot from Sandhurst,
I'm good at doing stuff like that. You've got to be prepared. Get your KPIs up.
Probably Joel Wharton, 4 goals, been buzzing around in that forward line. He was quite electric at stages.
You passed. Good answer. Good answer, you passed.
But if I'm going across both teams, I think Jack Reaper's been the best player for Gisborne down back.
What happened in that third term? What did happen? Did they get? Do we need a swap or?
Yeah,
it's a different game.
Different game of footy. Totally different game of footy. And Gisborne got a lot of control early, but I actually said, a bit of a break there. I think Sanders wrestled back control in the last 10 minutes of the game, in the last 10 minutes of the quarter. So much more entertaining game to watch. Better game, faster flowing. Maybe it's opened up a little bit just because it's getting later and the defensive structures are a little bit weaker, but much better on the eye.
Even the mood in the box, you can tell when a game's up and about, isn't it? Because it was that first half, it was just that dow of football, and unless you're a true fan, it was pretty hard to watch at times. But
it's either that or it's the hospitality from the Sandhurst Footy Club with the nice cakes and stuff that we have hooked into. There's more of a sugar rush.
The Golden Dragons, we're not far away from the start of this one. What happens? Give us your better ones there for Gisborne.
Gisborne better players. Brad Benaki's been good, but I think that Zach Dennehy got involved at stages at that time. Jed Dennehy, for a young fella's got a bit of size about him, throws his body around. He's been impressive as well. Jared Lynch, but I think Reaper has been the better player for Gisborne today. He's just been superb down back.
Just about to get the final term underway in round 2, where Sandhurst lead 55-46. The last quarter promises to be a cracker. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo. Here is the powerhouse, Cam Power.
Just while we wait for the crowd to clear off the ground, the goal kickers, Benaki's got 1, Luxmore 2, Dylan Johnson 1, 2 to McKenna. While for the Dragons, Joel Wharton 4, Kobe Maxted, Lockie Tarju, Lockie Wright and Oscar Perez. Underway in the final quarter, 25 to 30 minutes of football away from what is going to be a cracking final quarter. Do not go anywhere. Tune up your radio dial. Make sure you've got your drink hot or cold, because it is going to be a cracking last quarter. Ball goes up and no one able to really take any clean possession, so we'll get a secondary ball up now. Lakey's been in there for the Dogs. He was a little bit quieter in that third quarter, but he was terrific in the first half. It's punched forward by Braden Blake. They go towards the city end of the ground. Danahay came out, rode the tackle nicely, gave the handball off to Lakey. Lakey sends it in the McKenna direction. Couldn't quite mark it, but it comes to ground. It's taken the possession there. That was Ryan Burke. Sandhurst have worked it out. Now Tarju's got some space. He puts on the burners. He almost lost control of it on the bounce. Managed to recalm himself and collect. Sends it inside forward 50. Scanlon's been superb. He's able to punch the ball away for the Bulldogs. In fact, it was Reaper, I should say, but the Dragons will take it. Flying shot on goal is a goal. Something out of nothing for the Dragons. Might have been Noah Walsh that's got on the end of that.
I think it was.
Noah Walsh has kicked an absolute beauty, something out of nothing. They were a little bit subdued celebrations for the big context of that goal. Sandhurst get the massive goal to kick the last quarter off. 9-7-61, Gisborne 6-10-46, a minute and a half gone. In the final quarter, it is Jason Westcott Builder. Score sponsor, where local footy lives, at Fresh Bendigo.
The ball in dispute just squirts forward quickly, and Sandhurst is able to run and create some space and open up the defence in the back of it.
Back in the middle. Restart. Umpire will throw it up. Up they'll go. It'll be Blake. Wins the tap. Not to advantage. Fumbling contested ball. Soccer off the ground. Tardrew of the Dragons. Puts him to half forward. Connick. Little give back to Tardrew. It ran on. Long ball inside forward 50. Fergus Green was the target. And running on. It'll be a goal. Just slams it through for... Is that his first, Fergus Green?
Yeah, I think it is. Yep.
He found some space. He was over the back and popped it through for a pretty easy second one in a row. So they kick away here. 10-7-67. 6-10-46. 2.5 gone. Final term score sponsor, JB Restumping. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Tardrew starting to really show his class here too, boys. They had probably 5 disposals at the start of this last quarter, and he's set up a couple of goals for Sandhurst. So, yeah, he's playing a good 5 minutes of footy.
So the question has been asked, do the Gisborne Bulldogs have an answer to get themselves back in this game? Blake wins it down, then tried to fend off the tackle, might be in a bit of trouble. Umpire lets him go, managed to find it out. Lakey, high ball inside forward 50, bouncing around, good defensive pressure. That was Matthew Campbell went back with a bit of courage there. Had his eyes all on the ball, didn't quite take the mark, but it was good that he didn't take his eyes off the footy.
Good tackle by Ruffy then too. That's just pressure of Pat McKenna coming through to hold up that tackle.
25 out, inside forward 50. The Dogs need a response. Can they get it? Tarju tried to kick out of the pack. It was smothered. Danahay got shoved in the back. Umpire said, yes, you did. You'll get yourself a free kick. And this is a big moment. If he kicks this goal, it just keeps them back in the contest. So it'll be a chance for Zach Danahay, who hasn't troubled the goal tally yet. 15 out, directly in front, shouldn't miss from here. In he comes and he puts it through. Big time goal, and one the Dogs desperately needed. So lots of goals. We've had 3 goals in the first 3 minutes of the final quarter. Gisborne 7-10-52, 15 points the margin. Sandhurst 10-7-67. With score sponsor Bendigo City Framers. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Important goal too, boys. That's they needed to wrestle back a little bit of momentum. Sandhurst has finished the third quarter really strongly and started the fourth really strongly. That's an important goal that keeps them in the contest here.
Yes, it does. And out at Harry Trott, Laurel Huntley, obviously watching her son Cal in a good contest out there, but she tells me that Michael Hartley's kicked 7 out there, so he's providing a big target there. So we'll keep you up to date with those scores as they come to hand. Probably the only other close one around at Central Victoria at the moment in the Bendigo Footy League, as it will be the Dragons with a free kick. It ends up with Hood now for the Dragons. Inside forward 50. They'll look to build. McLean on the end of a handball that came from Paul Pratt. Goes toward goal. They hit the pack hard. Good defensive play by the Bulldogs to lock it up. Step it over the boundary line, and 30 metres out from the Dragons goal will have a ball up. 67 playing 52. 5 minutes gone, final term. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
So it'll be thrown in inside forward 50. Sandhurst player went to ground. Took a Gisborne player with him by looks, and it's going to be a free kick for a hold. So Braden Blake has possession of the ball. He's been really strong for Gisborne in the ruck today. He looks up. Hasn't got a lot to kick to. He's going to be forced to send this one down the grandstand side wing. He's going to ask for a fly, but he just got caught behind. That was Zach Dennehy. Spills out for the Dragons. Picked up by Harrison Free. Bangs it forward. Now they go one way than the other. Stagg's got it. Stagg sends it into the hot spot, and he's just found a teammate all on his own out the back. Rolling into goal will be Pelprat. And that is a big goal for the Dragons. And after Gisborne get one, the Dragons get an instant response. 11-7-73. A little bit too easy, that one. Gisborne 7-10-52. 6 minutes gone in the final quarter. JB re-stumping. Score sponsor, Local Footy Lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Just about to say there's been a lot of passages of play that have been stuck in that quarter of the ground at the QEO today, and very, very rarely have we seen a score or a goal out of those sort of passages of play. So that's a really good goal for Sandhurst in the context of the game to get one from that spot.
Certainly is. The Storm kicking away from Golden Square out at Wade Street, 75-46, which is what we expected would happen. As Braden Blake wins down the middle, he won his own ball but kicked it forward and kicked it to Wharton, so it's a turnover. Smith offering support, goes back to Wharton. They shared it around nicely, then Wharton will go down the line. Oh, it was a poor kick. Might be a turnover. In fact, stoppage, because they tie the footy up on the outer side wing. 73 playing 52. 7 gone. Final term. Local Footy Lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Ball up on the far wing. What have Gisborne got? Lakey going through. He's tackled strongly by Wharton. That was of the Alex variety. And we'll get it balled up on the far wing.
I must be calling better than Cam. He's stealing my binoculars and putting them to the side so I can't get them. A bit of a competitive beast, this man, Cam. How can I keep up my KPIs if you keep doing that to me?
I've got mine here.
No, but you'd stole mine and put them in the corner there. I couldn't find them.
Now back to the footy, boys.
Yeah,
More domestic.
Well, you can tell it's a stoppage on the outer side. Going back to that game, Jason.
Blake wins it out. He just grabbed it straight out of the ruck, and then he was tackled. And Sandhurst will just drag that one back in. Umpire letting him play, and it works out okay for Gisborne. They're able to clear it out. They send it down the line. Chasing hard after it was Zach Dennehy. No mark taken. Ball out of bounds. Boundary throw in. Now that Johnny's found his binos, he might be able to see the ball on the far side of the ground.
Well, I'll tell you what I can see, that Castleman's bubbles burst because the Bloods have kicked away at Harry Trott, 119-83. That is a little bit of an awe, isn't it? Back to the drawing board by the looks of it. Hopefully it's not another false dawn for the Magpies, as they really fancy themselves against South Bendigo this afternoon. As the ball's on the outer side here, back at the QEO. Good strong tackling right. Was trying to make a passage for the Dragons. Umpire said, give it to me, I'm going to ball it up again. Outer side, swimming pool side. Big punch from behind from Sexton. Doing the majority of the work for the Dragons. Throwing his head back was Lakey for the Gisborne. And I reckon the umpires bought it for 1-2-eye. Certainly wasn't to that extent. Goes to Dennehy. Dennehy inboard short pass, Burke. Burke receives now for the Dogs. Can he launch something here from the middle? On the left foot, he's got Graham leading for it, but it goes beyond him to Hood. And they've got the numbers. They've mopped up nicely. On the end of a handball is Connick. They had numbers there. Poor kick, it's only momentarily. He'd just given it to Vescovi, who sold some candy. Then he'll go to the goal square. 1-on-1, they'll set themselves mark. And it is Paddy McKenna who's launched. He got caught 1-on-1. He was always going to be hard to beat directly in front. And you shudder when you're back when you see that come in there, Chase.
I still shudder as a coach, Johnny, an ex-coach who saw it plenty of times at the graveyard. I think he put 9 through on us one day. It was heartbreaking. Good player, very good player.
McKenna directly in front. Won't miss. Kicking to the Bendigo City end. Bang. Puts it through. And he keeps this game alive because there's only 10 minutes gone. And it's 58 playing 73. So they are certainly close enough if they're good enough. Here's the maths, 15 points. So 3-goal margin will do it. Score sponsor Parsons Towing in Castlemaine. Local Footy Lives at Fresh Bendigo.
It was Vescovi again too, boys, and entered that ball into the 50. That's he's had a really good game. Not only has he played on probably Sandhurst's most dangerous forward in Fergus Green, he's actually now getting involved defensively as well. I've been really impressed with him today.
Ball go back in the middle. And just when you think Sandhurst are just getting themselves out, Gisborne just get the response. Next goal becomes big in this one. Gisborne will send it forward. It's taken by Lakey. He feeds off the handball to the teammate. That teammate was Jared Lynch. Kick was poor. Wharton's got it. Now the Dragons can rebound off defence. Jake McLean, high ball inside forward 50. They set. Big punch over the back, come again, but it lurking around for the Dragons. It's Lockie Wright. Was he taken high? People in the crowd thought so. He was dumped in the tackle, and he's got pinned for holding the ball. Oh, you could see the Sandhurst bench in front of us weren't overly impressed with that decision. They thought their man, Lockie Wright, might have been a chance for a high free kick, but nonetheless, Gisborne will work the ball out of defence. Working the ball up to the wing. Strong grab. That player's Sam Graham. Thought about the quick handballs. Going to slow things up. Experienced player, Sam Graham. Premiership player at the Bulldogs. Wheels the ball high inside forward 50. McKenna will try and set himself. Good defensive mark for Sandhurst. Playing in front. And it was a strong grab in the end, which will be taken nicely by Isaac Ruff.
So Ruff just weighing up his options. Short pass forward with Smith. Smith will go, they'll swing it across from one back pocket to other with Jake McLean, the recipient. Ball spills to the back of the pack. Hitting the pack hard there was Shapano. Following up the footy well was Mills. Mills of the Dragons puts it to the wing. Reaper does well for the Dogs. Lakey offers support. Handball back to Reaper. Reaper, short pass down the line. Spots up a teammate in Thomas. Harry Thomas looking to build right half forward. Just starting to slow. He's got a lead who ignores from Gray. Then he goes inboard into the middle. It's an aggressive piece of play, but it's safe. Spear with the footy. Just forward of centre of the Dogs to the city end. Long shadows cast here at the QEO. He's going to get caught from behind. Wharton was sneaking up, trying to sneak him, but he's kicked it away. As it falls to the front of the pack. Here they come, the Dogs. Here's this their chance. No, ball spills. Then it's still with Merritt. Merritt goes goalward. Goals were open and he just slewed it. And that was an opportunity missed for a minor score. Still plenty of time to go at the 13-minute mark. 59 playing 73. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Certainly game on at the QEO. Sandhurst will bring the ball back into play. They kicked the high ball down towards the grandstand wing. Setting themselves was Reaper. Couldn't get it. Maxted got it. Gave it to Walsh. Walsh will then go down the line. Does he kick it over the top? It does. Good strong mark taken. Now they can wheel and go inside forward 50. That's from the milestone man, Jimmy Coglan. And game 100. And he sends an absolute bullet of a pass inside forward 50. And a strong mark has been taken. 35 out directly in front. And Sandhurst can go back to land a huge blow through that man, Fergus Green.
Can't keep a good man down. That was a good mark, good contested mark, good entry of the footy. Gave him a chance to jump, clean hands. Should kick the goal.
If you're Ferg Green, you're not wanting that ball delivered much better than what James Coglan just did. That was superb.
Well, about time. They've been dropping on his head. And it makes a difference, though, doesn't it? That just goes to show you. If you've got the cattle down there.
35 out. Oh, Ferg has
give a bloke a rap.
Shanked it. Maybe he should have stayed down after that one. That's an all-time miss from him. 11-8, 74, 8-11, 59, 13 gone in the last quarter. Gisborne are going to bring the ball back into play quickly. Passes towing. Castlemaine score sponsor. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
The restart from the kick-in and full-back has been quick and effective, and it's made its way up to the wing. But here come the Dogs again. They picked up through Lakey. Lakey short pass. Tries at the ankles of Dennehy. It was ineffective. Put him under pressure. Picked up by Wright of the Dragons. That was a poor kick. Goes to Spear. Spear now will spread it wide to the outer side wing. They know that time is of the essence now. Shapano, he goes further afield. Good, it was a good option, but decided to come aggressively back inboard. Have they got the numbers they have? Hurried kick by the Dogs by Cardillo. Goes to the top of the square, but it's an intercepting mark taken by the Dragons through Matthew Campbell.
Campbell chips it out to Alex Wharton, who is inside the right-hand forward pocket, Rifle Brigade pocket here at the QEO.
Gisborne definitely trying to keep the ball in motion here, boys.
Sandhurst, it's probably a little bit early to go trying to run the clock down. He sends it down the line. Big, strong mark taken by Dennehy. Not paid. Well, he was confident. Sandhurst players were already manning the mark, but the umpire called him to go and he was taken. And the Dragons, they went out. Short kick, Joel Wharton. He's quick to move the ball down the line to another teammate. I thought he might have had all hands on that one there, Jace.
I thought it was clean, but umpire's call.
Yep, the umpire's the one you've got to impress sometimes. Nick Stagg gets it, sends it inside forward 50, trying to get a fly, spills out the back. Green's got it, he's tackled as he kicked it. If he didn't get that tackle, he was kicking a goal, but it was good defensive pressure from the Dogs. They allowed him nothing, minor score. 8-11-59, playing 11-9-75. It is a 16-point margin, 15 minutes gone. Final quarter in the QEO Round 2 football. Bendigo City Framers score sponsor. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Jack Reaper again down there, boys. Captain's game in defence for Gisborne.
Been playing very well. So it'll be the Dogs who win it again after the kick in. Ainsworth comes to the wing. Dragons win it back, however. Another turnover. Mills, I reckon he's been pretty good this afternoon. Goes to Connick. Connick now comes inboard. They're aggressive here as well. Jake McLean swings it wide to the opposite pocket. He had James Coughlin on and onto the league. I thought James Coughlin was going to play on then. He slipped around the corner, but probably being not a natural forward, Jason, he just didn't. It was just too intimidating, I think.
I think it's a smart move at this time of the game to go back to take a bit of time. But the two boys you just mentioned then have really come on in the last half of the game. Both McLean and Coughlin have both got into the game as it's gone on.
Full-time score in the MCD FNL. Denali 17-5, 107 have defeated Navarre 7-7-49. Denali going 2-0 on season 2024.
James Coughlin, his 100th game. It'll go to the line, and it was just touched on a fingertipper, which increases the lead 76-59. It's just starting to get out of reach now for the Dogs, you would think, at the 17-minute mark. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
3 kicks will get them home, though. That's all it takes. As fans are down there underneath the ground. Gisborne working the ball forward. Can they try and get the ball through the middle? Wharton's got possession for the Dragons. He'll fire out a handball wide to Connick. Connick's forced to chip backwards, and he was cool, calm and composed as he chipped the ball back and found a teammate. That is Lockie Hood. In fact, it's Liam Ireland. Ireland's kick's dangerous. Chance for the Bulldogs. Unable to take clean possession, though, was Matthew Merritt. Spilling around, they've got it forward. It comes out to Graham, steps one way then the other, throws it on the right foot to the top of the square. Wants a fly, not going to get it. Dragons might get lucky. Boundary line will be their friend here. Gisborne have kept it alive. They've got options in the middle of the ground. It'll go forward, but it's all Sandhurst back on the last line of defence. Ireland will get a chance to redeem himself here. This time he takes the safe option, which is a short pass to Alex Wharton.
Just getting out of reach for the Dogs, as I said. Alex Wharton. Jeez, he made Connor Sexton work. Then he jumped about 3 feet off the ground to get that.
I don't think anyone else on the ground would have caught that, maybe other than Braden Blake.
Cramped up as well, Connor.
So it ended up with Smith, and Smith short past it. Here we go through Tardru, receive that footy. Now he goes down the line. Oh, big fly then. It was from, guess who? Well, this was Jed Danahy. I thought he would go for a specky during the days. He scooped up that footy. Now he's away. He's a tall, gangly type. But there's a free kick off the ball, so it'll go to Noah Walsh. Walsh inside forward 50 now. Goes to Joel Wharton, who offers the lead. Swooping on it will be Fergus Green. Taps it along the boundary line. But it just tumbles over, and 20 metres around from the goal that Fergus Green attacks for the Dragons. It'll be a ball into the Barnard Street as we approach the 19-minute mark. 59 playing 76. You reckon the Dragons are almost home with this one?
Oh, I was waiting. Just thought you were about to jump out and start signing some autographs then, Johnny.
Well, it's tough, you know. This is my lot in life. This is my curse.
So the Gisborne Bulldogs, if they're going to do anything, can they work it out of defence? It'll come down the line. Wharton versus Danahy. Wharton took possession over the boundary line.
Should see me at the nightclubs, though, Cam, if you reckon that's good.
Oh, the free kick's been paid to Gisborne, has it? No.
I reckon it was out of bounds on the full, wasn't it? It was one of those ones that was the ankle.
Where's the arc when you need it?
My initial thought was it out of bounds on the full, Jason.
It's that Bermuda Triangle again that I can't see over there.
Ah, right, okay, yeah.
It's been there all day.
We're going to go with out of bounds on the full because Gisborne will bring the ball back into play.
That's what it was.
They chip it into Jared Lynch. Lynch then into the middle of the ground with a very ordinary kick. Walsh turns it over for Sandhurst, sends it forward. Can Kobe Maxted get on the end of it? He can. And Kobe Maxted from 45 just says, slow it down, boys. I'm a superstar. I'll go back and kick this goal. Good player, Kobe Maxted. Young talent for the Dragons. And you just feel if he goes back and slots this one, it'll be game over just about. He'll kick from just inside the 50, about 10 metres in from the boundary. Pull side here at the QEO. Maxted comes in on the right. Oh, that was never in doubt. I gave him a wrap and he delivered. 12-82 the Dragons. They have skipped away to a very impressive lead. Maxted's got 2 in the game, and Gisborne are now trailing by 8-11-59. So it is a 23-point margin, which means 4 goals are required for Gisborne to win the game. Score sponsors, Bendigo City Framers, where local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Kobe Maxted's always had the ability when the moment's there to kick a big goal. Done it through his junior career, through to senior footy. He's always looked about the same size. He's always sort of had that presence on a footy field.
Do you know, I love the goal umpire. Did you notice he did that classic sway back, you know, when the archer there did not move except for his chin to go follow the flight of the ball. As the ball was won out of the middle by the Dragons. But they kicked it up forward, and Dennehy intercepted now for the Dogs. Kicks it to the wing. They're out here now, the Dogs. It's Johnson, takes a bounce, goes inside forward 50. Contest forms. We're 35, 40 metres out directly in front. Hood did well. He's good for the Dragons. Went over the top to Tardrew. Tardrew to Mills. Mills received it by hand, and they'll go to half forward. They'll set themselves. It was good bit of work there by Dennehy. Puts it there wide to the far outside wing. Over the top is Graham. They're running hard now, the Dogs. Inside forward 50. Mark, and they'll line it up. Shot on goal. And this will be Zach Dennehy. Pretty much directly in front. And he's a good kick of the footy, and I expected kick it there. Jason?
Tough shot though, decent distance. He's come on as the game's gone along, hasn't he? He's certainly had plenty of opportunities.
He's confident with his kick. It's long. It'll make in fact, it just falls short. A lot of hands on the footy. They'll rush it through. Killed the footy there would be Lockie. Hood did well for the Dragons. So it's a 22-point margin. 23 minutes gone. Sandhurst lead. Final term. Local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Well, Harrison Free is just screaming at him to kick the ball down the wing and just slow it down. He does just that, and he finds its way to Hannaford. Ollie Hannaford gets it. He plays on the right, sends it down towards Noah Walsh, who maintained his feeting, but he was unable to take the mark and juggles it across the boundary.
You're making up words now, eh?
It's in that spot again too. I can't see, boys. So
no, I know. Yeah, that's why we put you in that corner. Cam tried to tell me he wanted to call from there earlier today. Well, I said to him, he can't see the footy anyway, so who cares? With those old binoculars. He's got his grandfather's binoculars.
I think they came out of the 1800s, but they're
they're
doing the job so far. As Gisborne worked the ball forward, and it's going to be a chance here for Pat McKenna.
There's probably time. One of those quarters went 31 minutes, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
It did?
There was a lot more stoppages in that quarter than what there has been this quarter, though.
Boy, oh boy, let's not put this one away, though, yet.
No, if McKenna kicks this, we'll keep the listeners involved as McKenna goes back, and he's never missing. Kicks the goal. 9-12-66, 12-10-82. Still a pulse in the Dogs. 24 minutes gone in the final quarter. Score sponsor, JB Re-Stumping, where local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
A little more difficult, though, to get a roll on now, isn't it, with the structures and stuff that are played. Sanders will probably roll a few back behind the ball when they can, after the stoppage, obviously. But, yeah, anything's possible. Let's get out of the middle quickly and see what happens.
Premiership favourites and teams don't lose from positions like this, do they? Because they know to shut down. The only way they're going to lose is if they go to sleep.
Correct.
That's the only way they can lose it. And that's taking nothing away from the Dogs, who have been gallant at times, but they just haven't done enough. But having said that, they're going to win it out of the middle. What's going to happen here? Inside forward 50. Dennehy did well running with a fly to the footy. Good mopping up by Cooper Smith. He banged it on the boot. It was okay. Went to Connick. Connick's been good this afternoon. He trapped the footy. He puts it low. Will they turn it over? Umpire's letting it go. Good bit of work by Lakey getting involved, and they win it. It's the Dogs inside forward 50 now. It's swooping on the ball will be Gray. Gray will go to the hot spot. He's got a player on. Hands on the footy. Couldn't quite mark it. Was Luxmore. And hurried shot at goal. Might have been Dennehy. Top of the square looking for McKenna. And Sandhurst, very well drilled. Killed the footy towards the boundary line. But for a moment there, I thought we were on.
Luxmore was standing on his own, screaming for it 20 metres out from goal, and the kick just took that fraction too long to get to.
And they didn't roll anyone back, Sandhurst. They've stayed forward to the footy.
Ball thrown in, deep inside attack. If the Bulldogs can score off this stoppage, well, who knows? Spills out. Sandhurst happy to dive on it. As you see in these situations in There's that sign going up again. But you just see nowadays, especially like in the AFL, players just paddle the ball and try and keep it going here to run time off the clock and not really make any possession.
Harry Trott Oval, the Bloods have defeated the Magpies, Castlemaine, 42-point margin. So back to the drawing board for the Magpies.
That's a really disappointing result for
Yes,
Castlemaine.
it is.
Good for South Bendigo.
Good for South Bendigo. But there you go. What do we know about footy? Maybe I have got my black and white glasses on every now and again, but I thought they might have improved a bit more than that this season. But it's early days yet. Let's not hit the panic button, but back to the drawing board for Michael Hartley and his Magpies as other final scores come through. I'll get them to you, but it doesn't look like there's many close ones at the moment. The Stag wins it. They'll share it around, ending up with Walsh. Walsh of the Dragons kicks it to the wing. Will they have enough time to get enough footy on the board here? The Dogs, they won't, as Reaper comes up the ground to the wing, where it's 82 playing 66. We're well into time on now, 26 and a half gone. Final term, local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Well, the green sign has now been switched around to red time. I'm assuming that means red is just slow things down, green go, I'm guessing.
Wow. I suppose if you're into traffic lights.
You just don't know with some signs. Gisborne are going to get a 50-metre penalty here. I think the Sandhurst player may have encroached over the mark.
I'll make it my business to find out after the game, Cam.
So Lakey's going to get a chance to go and kick a goal. It was a short 50-metre penalty, though. I don't think that will. Either way, 35 metres out in front. If he kicks this, it is game on. 16-point margin. Can bring it back to 10. Lakey comes in. 25 out, directly in front. And he has... Well, he's put it through. There's a pulse yet left in the Dogs. 2-goal margin. 10-12-72. Sandhurst 12-10-82. 10 points. 2 goals will get them home. Parsons Towing Castlemaine is our score sponsor, where local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
Still really surprised Sandhurst hasn't rolled anyone back behind the ball here.
No,
and tried to slow it a little bit. The red sign's up. We're assuming red means slow.
Well,
it hasn't happened.
Red flag should be up because we talked about this just moments ago that premiership sides don't let teams come back from here in these situations. And I know it does happen. Let's be honest. But you train for these games as Blake wins it through the middle, gives it by hand to Lakey. Here we come again, the Dogs. McKenna's the target. Got caught behind. 40 metres out in front. Hood did well for the Dragons. Scooped it in and a handball to Smith. Long clearing kick to the wing. Bouncing, tumbling football towards the boundary line. It won't go out. The pressure on from the behind from right probably forced it. And right up back on the wing, we'll have a ball in where it's a 10-point margin with 28 and a half gone, final term on the clock.
I just wonder if the ball had kept bouncing end on end instead of sitting up, if the umpire may have been brave enough to say insufficient attempt, but it took a nice bounce for Sandhurst. Blake got it, gave it off to Lakey. Lakey gives the handball off to the run. Gisborne can go inside forward 50 here. Good Paul. Oh, didn't quite carry to its intended target. That target down there was Cadillo, but Gisborne has still got it. Graham's in there, Scanlon's in there. Dragons, they work it out. Oh, kick was smothered. It comes out. Cadillo, he steps around, tries the banana, and he just got it all wrong. It was there for him to take the moment and banana it through, but he didn't quite get it done. 10-13-73, 12-10-82. That might just about do it as we hit the 30th minute in the final quarter. It is a 9-point margin. Jason Westcott Builder, score sponsor, local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
What was he doing there, Jason? He should have went the hot spot, shouldn't he?
Oh, I think he was lost. He needed to come out and either go on the left and bring it around or put it at the top of the
It was there for the kick, he just got it all wrong.
Oh, but it was a low percentage side of the boot, hard up against the boundary line. Yeah, you don't win them like that. It should have been the pressure at the top of the square. Let's see what happens now. Comes beyond 50 from the kick-in from fullback. Noah Walsh, over the top. Kill it here, Dragons. Hood does, just in front of the Golden Dragons tent. 65 out from the Dogs' goal. We're ticking over to 30 minutes. Dogs trail by 9 points. They've had a lot of it inside forward 50. Sandhurst seem to have stopped. They haven't got anyone behind the footy. And here we go again. Blake over the top. How will they have a chance? Handball received. That was okay to Burke. Didn't quite come off. Smothered ball. Noah Walsh. He's been good this afternoon.
Bounds on the full.
Kicks it towards the boundary line. It will be. Reaper.
Big call.
Don't muck around with it, Reaper. He's 2 kicks out from goal. Sends it long now. goes deep inside forward 50. They set themselves. Good mark. Now we'll slow it down, Dragons. And I think they've just been about snuffed out, Cam.
Yeah, it was a terrific grab there from Maxted. He's able to chip the ball short. He's doing it at both ends today, Kobe Maxted. He might be a contender for a Bendigo City Framers Player of the Day award.
Our sponsor.
He's been really good up both ends of the ground. And I think Sandhurst now, they'll send it down the line. Grandstand side. Packer players fry. Wharton out the back gets it and sends it forward. It'll bounce forward. Here's Fergie Green. Fergus Green's got it. He props one way, then the other. Sends it inside forward 50. Ollie Hannaford on it. He ran hard from the centre of the ground. He got to about 25. The kick was superb. And 5 or 6 Sandhurst players have just gone around and got to Ferg Green and said that is an absolutely magnificent kick. Shown his quality. And the late inclusion, Ollie Hannaford, will go back and just put the nail in the Bulldogs' coffin. 25 out directly in front. Reward for a bit of gut running to get into that position too. .25 out directly in front. In he comes. Good night, Bulldogs. It's gone through for a goal. 13-10-88. Gisborne 10-3-73. And Hannaford kicks his first goal, the late inclusion, who's had a good game this afternoon. Score sponsor, Bendigo City Framers, where local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
You don't blame Gisborne for trying to throw numbers forward of the footy. Max did really well to take that mark back there, but Gisborne trying to win the game, opened up out the back because they're trying to win the game. So, yeah, you can't blame them for that.
They had the chances, don't you think?
They had the chances, yeah, absolutely.
That little, getting back to that little dinky kick is, you know, should have been a centering ball there for Gisborne. But we're back in the middle now. Up they go in the ruck. It'll be Blake. He was against Sexton. Sexton's been pretty good. But it's the Dogs who bring it inside forward 50. Right on the final time siren, where Sandhurst have run out winners in this game. And what is a late finish? We've gone beyond 5 o'clock, which is unusual, which goes to show how long the quarters were. And the final siren has sounded. And the final score here, Sandhurst 13-10-88 to Gisborne 10-13-73. We will take a short break and we will be back, so don't go away. We'll sum up what happened in this game and we'll update you with all games that come to hand from Central Victoria. We'll go through our best player for our Bendigo City Framers, our sponsors, $100 voucher, which we award every week to the player that we award best on ground, and we'll preview the games that are coming up next week in round 3 of Bendigo football. Good winners, big winners here, as in a confidence-wise for the Dragons. 13-10-88. They've defeated the Gisborne Bulldogs 10-13-73, where local footy lives at Fresh Bendigo.
It's driving